Chapter 1733. Bang! The shockwave of the explosion shook the void and created countless waves of lava. Yi-Chen seized the opportunity to change his move. Greenwood Emperor Finger. Behind him, a cluster of green light appeared out of nowhere, resisting the destructive flames of this lava world. The Greenwood Finger seal pierced through the air and pointed at the Golden Crow's forehead. The Golden Crow roared, and its true yuan surged. Purple gold true flames burned fiercely, and a fiery light shot into the sky. He spread his huge wings, and a terrifying true flame shot out from between his eyebrows. The green finger mark was like butter meeting a hot knife, melting away the ice and snow, and extinguishing its life force. Yi-Chen was shocked. The invincible Emperor Green would have been defeated so easily. His eyes flashed, and he was surprised to find that the Golden Crow's strength was equivalent to the Tao integration late stage. The Golden Crow's aura surged as it shouted, "Die, lowly humans!" His Tao integration final stage cultivation base could easily crush a 4-star ancestor. A terrifying aura rushed toward Yi-Chen. The pressure alone was enough to shatter the void. The purplish gold true flame quickly gathered above the Golden Crow, and the surrounding lava was also sucked up. A fireball that contained a huge amount of energy condensed and formed. The void around the fireball had long since been burned to ashes, leaving only a black hole around the fireball. The fireball filled the entire mysterious space. Even the air was being burned. Everything that got close to the fireball would be destroyed. Yi-Chen faced the terrifying fireball head-on. His entire body was illuminated red. Before his protective quintessential chi had even come into contact with the true flames, it was already sizzling. "I'll show you the might of a celestial arch," he said in a cold voice. "I'll show you the might of a celestial arch." Buzz! The immortal slaying flying knife with a body like a dragon emerged from a void. At this moment, the dragon roared in the ninth heaven, showing its sharpness. The Emperor came to the world. Once the dragon knife was out, who could compete with it? No. What kind of fairy weapon is this? The Golden Crow trembled uncontrollably with fear at the sight of the immortal slaying flying saber. Even though it was a Tao integration final stage mighty figure, it was certain that it would die in the face of this saber strike. Slash! Yi-Chen swung his saber, and the gigantic saber gleam in the fireball was split into two. Only the saber gleam flashed between heaven and earth. It was like a white horse galloping through a crack as the saber slashed through the void. Ah! The Golden Crow shrieked miserably. Then, a dazzling blade light shot out from its body. Bang! The Golden Crow's body exploded, and countless true flames scattered across the magma ocean, causing huge waves to surge. Golden Crow Meteor. Yi-Chen took a deep breath. The Golden Crow was truly powerful. If he did not have the immortal slaying flying saber, he would not have been able to withstand that terrifying fireball. Up ahead, where the Golden Crow was circling, clumps of scarlet gold flames gathered. Yi-Chen was overjoyed. It was the Origin Tinder. It turned out that the Golden Crow had been absorbing the Origin Fire seed to cultivate here. Fortunately, he was blessed with good luck. If he had waited any longer and the Golden Crow finished absorbing, he would not have been a match for it. Yi-Chen then extracted the Origin Fire seed that it had absorbed from the Golden Crow's carcass and combined them. In the depths of the lava where he had killed the Golden Crow, extreme fire energy filled the entire mysterious space. The reddish-gold Origin Fire seed floated in the air, and countless fire-attributed spiritual energy worshipped it. Yi-Chen sat down cross-legged and began to meditate. Then, he absorbed the Origin Tinder into his body. Hiss! Yi-Chen inhaled sharply. The Origin Tinder exploded in his dantian, and the violent flames rushed into his meridians, blood, and even every cell with an unstoppable force. His body glowed red. From afar, he looked like a fiery red gemstone that was steaming hot. Cracks appeared on his body, and one could see dark red magma flowing in his body. It was terrifying. Yi-Chen clenched his teeth and clenched his fists. His fingers had dug into his flesh, and it was excruciating. His flesh was burning, and the reddish-gold true flames penetrated deep into his bones like a fire dragon. He almost fainted. His body emitted a golden glow that flickered between bright and dark. His body was gradually becoming stronger in this demon-like torture. After an unknown period of time, Yichen finally finished absorbing the origin fire seed. His body was drenched in sweat, and he was drenched. He bent over and gasped for air, almost dying. After carefully feeling the strength of his body, Yi Chun threw his head back and laughed. He threw a punch, and the air shook. Then he waved his sleeve, and the spirit stones on the ground piled up like a mountain. They were the 5 million spirit stones that the Patriarch of Fire Spirit and the other two worshipped. He absorbed them crazily. When the spirit stones were empty, Yi Chun came out of closed-door cultivation. His cultivation base was still at the great perfection Tao integration stage. He was still half a step away from the tribulation stage. Yi Chun shook his head and sighed in disappointment. He left the mysterious space. 3 days later, on Fire Spirit Star, the Patriarch of Fire Spirit and the other two looked at the fire territory and whispered to each other. They were guessing if Yi Chun had died in there. Make a guess. Did he perish in there? It's hard to say. We can't see through his strength. Why don't we wait a little longer? It's already been 3 days. How much longer do we have to wait? Suddenly, Yi Chun's cold voice sounded in the air. I'm not dead. Are you guys disappointed? The three of them's expressions changed drastically, and they broke out in cold sweat. Then, they lowered their heads and hurriedly denied. We dare not. The Holy Lord is extremely powerful. How could he die so easily? When they looked up again, they saw Yi Chun stepping out of the endless sea of fire. His eyes were like 2 suns. The scorching sun was like a knife, causing the three of them to feel a piercing pain in their eyes. What shocked the three of them the most was that the aura on Yi Chun's body seemed to be getting more and more powerful. It was unfathomable. They did not dare to have any thoughts of resisting. Yi Chun turned around to look at the fire territory behind him. There was a hint of regret on his face. What a pity. I've already absorbed the 4 ultimate elemental powers of metal, wood, fire, and earth. I'm still short of the water element. Otherwise, I could successfully cultivate the ancient god body. However, he could only give up. He instructed the Patriarch of Fire Spirit and the other two, you guys need to gather treasures and refine the ascension platform on the 4 stars. In the future, if anyone who claims to be from Earth, the celestial burial planet, or China comes here, the 3 of you must treat them well. Otherwise, you'll end up worse than the Patriarch of Wood Spirit. Subsequently, Yi Chun waved his sleeve and left. The Patriarch of Fire Spirit and the other two could not help but heave a sigh of relief as they watched him leave. The deterrence that Yi Chun brought to them after coming out of closed-door cultivation was too great. They looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. The celestial burial planet? Hasn't this planet long been desolate? How could it still give birth to such a terrifying existence? The Patriarch of Earth Spirit accepted his fate and said, It's impossible to resist. Let's do as he says. He flew away after saying that. Yi Chun's body traversed the void like a meteor. He returned to the withered sea ascension planet and found the starry sky, ancient teleportation formation. He took a step in and waved his sleeve. A large number of spirit stones surged out, and the starry sky, ancient teleportation formation emitted waves of starlight. The ancient runes engraved on it lit up one by one. With a buzz, the teleportation was activated. The teleportation power was activated. In the space tunnel, Yi Chun saw countless stars passing by him. He looked at the blue planet that appeared at the end of the space tunnel. Yi Chun was extremely excited. He had fought many battles and finally returned to his familiar home. Earth, I'm back. Chapter 1734. Yi Chun walked out of the ancient teleportation formation on Mount General on Earth. Yi Chun took a deep breath of Earth's fresh air as he touched the safe mountains and rivers again. He felt refreshed. A sense of security surged in his heart. There were brothers and friends who knew each other and protected their homes together. On Mount General, Yi Chen's cultivation aura faintly spread out, startling many birds and beasts that fled in panic. Soon, many powerhouses sensed it and immediately rushed over. Among the crowd were the Patriarch of Hell, Yi Wu Shuang, Ying, Heaven Trampler, the four great witches, Yang Tian, and the rest. The Patriarch of Hell relaxed when he saw that it was Yi Chun. He asked hurriedly, "Fellow Yi, where have you been all this time?" Everyone could not help but gather around him, their eyes filled with curiosity. It was because Yi Chun had disappeared for 5 days. Yi Chun told everyone about his journey to the Big Dipper planet, conquering Fire Spirit Planet, fighting the Patriarch of Wood Spirit, recovering the 4 great planets, exploring the Fire Territory, and fighting the Golden Crow. Yang Tian and the rest were shocked. It turned out that the universe beyond Earth was so exciting. Adventure and treasure hunting coexisted with opportunities and challenges. They could not help but yearn for it. One day, I'll go explore the outer realm too. I'll appreciate the beauty of the universe and the vastness of the universe, someone mumbled to himself. However, the Patriarch of Hell and Heaven Trampler said, "The universe is boundless and there are countless planes. Fire Spirit Planet is nothing. The real world is in the spirit realm. It's where powerhouses gather, opportunities are everywhere, and there are all kinds of innate treasures." Yi Chen nodded and said in a heroic manner, "The spirit realm is the world we want to conquer." Then he threw out another piece of shocking news. "I'm already the master of the 4 great planets in the Big Dipper planet. I'll arrange for people to refine the ascension platform on the 4 planets. In the future, you can ascend to the Big Dipper planet and use it as a springboard to explore the universe." That's great. Everyone was overjoyed. They could also head to the outer realm that they had been looking forward to. He waved his hand again, and a mountain of heavenly treasures appeared. Golden light shone brightly, and spiritual energy swept over like a gust of wind. There was even a drizzle of spiritual energy condensed into spiritual energy. The spiritual energy in the area increased several times because of this. Take these and cultivate. Work hard to improve your cultivation base so that you can protect yourself in the outer realm. Everyone was overjoyed and nodded in agreement. Yi Chen still had an ultimate treasure that the Earth Spirit Patriarch had offered. It suited Yuhan very well, so he wanted to give it to her. He looked around and realized that his wife, Su Yuhan, was not here. A bad feeling rose in him, so he could not help but ask by instinct, "Where's Yuhan? Why isn't she here? Wait for me at home." When everyone heard this, their expressions became strange, and they looked as if they wanted to say something but were hesitant. Yi Chen's expression changed slightly, as if he had realized something. His heart sank as he asked the Patriarch of Hell immediately. Old Ancestor Yellow Spring looked troubled. He sighed faintly and finally said, "Young Lady Su, she has been taken back to the netherworld." "What?" Yi Chen's body swayed, and he calmed himself down immediately. He flew away instantly, leaving everyone looking at each other and sighing. A streak of light flashed across the sky like lightning. Soon, Yi Chen landed at the Yi residence in Lin City. He anxiously entered the house and searched everywhere. He opened one room after another, but there was no one there. It was as if the expectation in his heart was dashed little by little, and in the end, it turned into disappointment. The beautiful woman who used to stay at home and wait for her husband's triumphant return, the beautiful woman who used to play around in this room, her figure has long disappeared, left me. Yi Chen sat on the ground with a sad expression on his face. His heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. It was as if a part of the world had been cut away and was no longer complete. He sobbed and mumbled, "Yuhan, why didn't you wait for me? Why didn't you wait for me? Why did you have the heart to leave me? Why?" His parents, Yi Hai and Wu Lan, knew that Yi Chun had returned home, but they did not disturb him. At that moment, they walked out and wiped their tears. They said sadly, "Xiao Chun." Yuhan left. She took Meng Meng with her. Half an hour later, Yi Chen walked out of his sadness and asked his parents, "Dad, Mom, what happened at home while I was away? Why did Yuhan leave without saying goodbye?" Eventually, Yi told Yi Chun what happened to Su Yuhan and the earth-shattering changes that happened to her during this period of time. It turned out that Su Yuhan had awakened too much power in the battle earlier. As a result, the memory of the Lord in her head became clearer. She was influenced by the Lord in her past life, so her obsession with the Lord's power grew stronger. It only took her half a month to elevate her cultivation base to the underworld saint, which was equivalent to a tribulation stage cultivator. As she awakened more and more power, she eventually sensed the summoning of the underworld. To fulfill the Lord's obsession, she had to leave. She even took their daughter, Ming Ming. Yi Chen clenched his fists after understanding what happened. He was filled with regret. He regretted that he should have stayed by Su Yuhan's side. Otherwise, he might have been able to stop her or accompany her to the underworld to protect her. At that moment, Wu Lan took out a letter and handed it to Yi Chen. She said, "Su Yuhan left this for you." She left with her husband after saying that, leaving some space for Yi Chen. Yi Chen opened the letter with shaking hands and read it carefully. Tears were rolling in his eyes. He could not help but take a deep breath in. "Xiao Chun, I might not be by your side anymore when you read this letter. Don't be sad, don't be angry." Su Yuhan mentioned in the letter that she went to the underworld willingly. She was not completely affected by the Lord's memory in her past life. She went to the underworld because she saw too many people in the underworld suffering. They were in danger all day long. They had no clothes to cover their bodies, food to fill their stomachs, and everyone was in danger. She could not bear to see her people in prison, so she made the decision to change the situation. There is a sentence at the end of the letter, "Xiao Chun, I don't want to be a vase hiding behind you. So, please forgive me for being stubborn this time. I believe we'll be reunited soon." Soon, the Patriarch of Hell and the rest walked in. They seemed to be trying to talk some sense into him. They did not agree with Su Yuhan's decision back then. They had been persuading him to wait for Yi Chen to return. Never had they thought that Su Yuhan's ability would soar. She sent them flying as soon as she attacked and seized the opportunity to summon the gate to the underworld. The gate to heaven exuded a terrifying and ancient aura. As soon as people got close, the gate to the underworld would release a bone-chilling storm that even severed soul powerhouses could not resist. They could only watch Su Yuhan open the tunnel by force and bring Ming Ming to the underworld. As Yi Chen's comrade-in-arms and brothers who had gone through thick and thin with him, they blamed themselves for failing to stop Su Yuhan from leaving. At that moment, everyone was waiting for Yi Chen outside quietly. Chapter 1735. A while later, Yi Chen put the letter away and walked out of the room after taking a deep breath. Wu Lan and the rest had been guarding at the door. Wu Lan's heart clenched when she saw Yi Chen coming out. She could not help but say while crying, "Xiao Chun, will we still be able to see Yuhan and Ming Ming?" "Yes, definitely." Yi Chen nodded hard. Subsequently, he looked bitter as he sighed. "However, it's very troublesome. Unless I can go to the spirit realm and enter the tribulation stage, it'll be as difficult as ascending to heaven." Yihai asked in confusion why. Old ancestor Yellow Spring explained, "The netherworld and the spiritual realm have the same status. Earth is just a lesser kiliocosm. There is no passage to the netherworld at all. Only the spiritual realm has it. Moreover, if one's cultivation is not high enough, it will be difficult to move an inch in the spiritual realm. It is extremely dangerous, and there is the possibility of dying at any time." After saying that, he sighed as if he was recalling something. Wu Lan was getting more and more nervous when she heard that. She could not help but worry about Yi Chen since it was so dangerous. Yihai pondered for a moment and asked, "Why can Yuhan go to the underworld from Earth?" A gleam flashed through Yi Chen's eyes as he explained, "That's because Yuhan inherited the Lord's memory and power. She can summon the door to the underworld. We can only go to the netherworld through the spiritual realm's passageway." After a pause, he promised his parents firmly, "Don't worry, I'll definitely bring Yuhan and Ming Ming back. Our family will be reunited soon." After everyone left, Yi Chen stayed behind alone. There seemed to be a familiar aura lingering in the room. He could not help but recall the bits and pieces of his life with Yuhan, as well as her beautiful, tall, and exquisite figure. He missed her even more. Yichen took a deep breath and pulled himself together. He took stock of what he had gained during this period and planned to go to the underworld. The ancient god body needed 5 types of extreme energy. He had already absorbed earth, fire, wood, and metal. There was still water left. According to Huishuan, the water attribute energy corresponded to the sea ascension star. However, because the ancient godhead had turned into a dead domain, its vitality was extinguished. Star ocean ascension had long since dried up. In the vast sea of stars, where could he go to find other stars? Moreover, his cultivation was stuck at the half-step crossing calamity realm. No matter how hard he cultivated, he could not make any progress. It seemed that he had to go to the spiritual realm to seek opportunities. Now that the crisis on Earth had been resolved, he had to make a good plan to go to the outer domain to find the ultimate water energy. Then, he would break through to the tribulation realm and go to the spiritual world to find the passage to the netherworld to find Yuhan and Adorable. However, he also had to make proper preparations for the Earth's defense. After all, the Earth's foundation was almost depleted in the last war. He had to leave behind enough means before he could leave with peace of mind. Yichen sighed softly. Then, he walked into the mountain behind the Yi residence. On the shady path, the sunlight shone through the leaves, scattering golden spots of light. Birds chirped in the mountains, and the spring water gurgled. Such a beautiful scene was very comfortable. However, Yichen was not in the mood to appreciate it. He walked deep into the back of the mountain alone. His shadow grew longer, and there was only a lonely silhouette left. Time flew, and in the blink of an eye, a month had passed. During this month, the cultivation world on Earth was stirred up again and again. One major event after another was too much for the eyes to take in. Outside of Earth, there were originally many sects from the outer realm. The spiritual energy on the celestial mountains and sacred grounds was like clouds. There were wisps of green smoke and all kinds of rare and strange beasts. Many powerful Taoists rode on the clouds like a fairyland. Now, all of them had disappeared. All the sects and immortal sects seemed to have moved overnight and left Earth, their whereabouts unknown. Everyone was extremely surprised, as if they had left behind an unsolved mystery. Only some of the top powerhouses knew that on the second day after Yichen returned, he personally visited these sects one by one. On the other hand, the Patriarch of Hell and the rest went into closed-door cultivation after taking the spirit stones and treasures that Yichen had brought back from the Big Dipper. During this month, there were auras of breakthroughs coming from all over China almost every day. The people of China were cheering and celebrating the birth of a powerhouse. However, Yichen did not cultivate after he returned. He rejected everyone who wanted to visit him. Instead, he spent all his time with his family like an ordinary person. Meanwhile, in the mountain behind the Yi residence, Yichen was hugging his son, Yi Ming, and enjoying the most pleasant time. In the past, he had always been fighting and neglected his family. This time, Yuhan and Mengming's departure made him understand the importance and beauty of family. Yichen lowered his head and looked at the small and cute Yi Ming dotingly. He said softly with a kind face, "Daddy, I'll definitely find your mother and sister." Yi Ming was just giggling and laughing. His innocent laughter spread throughout the back of the mountain. Suddenly, a trace of enlightenment rose from the bottom of his heart. In an instant, his thoughts were clear, and his aura rose. He carefully felt it and realized that the cultivation base in his body had improved a little again. Although it was not a big improvement, it made him only half a step away from the beginner stage tribulation stage. Yichen understood something. After a month of meditation, his cultivation base became more and more stable. At the right time, the Patriarch of Hell came out of closed-door cultivation and rushed over. He sighed softly and said, "I wonder what your plans are for the future, fellow Yi." Yichen looked at him. In the past month, the Patriarch's cultivation base had improved greatly. He had also stepped into the soul-splitting stage. However, his aura was a little unstable. He was in a hurry to break through, so his cultivation base was unstable. He asked, "Patriarch, you want to go back, right?" The Patriarch of Hell's eyes flashed, and he nodded slightly. His tone was heavy. I almost died there in my previous life. There are many grudges that need to be resolved. I want revenge. Yichin sighed softly and turned to look at the Yi family. His gaze was deep. That's right, it's time to leave. Although Earth was his hometown, it was not the end. However, before I leave, I have to tell you something. Wait a few more days. The Patriarch of Hell was overjoyed and laughed loudly. No problem. I'll go prepare first. After saying that, he disappeared on the spot. Yichin sighed as he watched the Patriarch of Hell leave. Revenge was easier said than done. He only hoped that the Patriarch would not die. 3 days later, Yichin appeared alone in the depths of the void. Panga's axe flew out of the shadow and hovered around Yichin. It resonated with the Pangu godhead in his body, looking reluctant to part. Yichin held Pangu with one hand and comforted softly. Go. Earth is what you have to protect. With a loud shout, he unleashed his supreme divinity. A drop of golden blood essence flew out from the tip of his finger and condensed into a blood-colored talisman in the air. He sent it out with his palm, and the talisman fused into the Pangu's axe that had turned into a gray light. The world spirit placenta seemed to understand Yichin's words. It slashed out a sharp light in the void, shattering the void. It seemed to be answering Yichin. I'm very powerful. I can definitely protect Earth. Then, it flew away and returned to the depths of Qingming to sleep. Panga's axe was originally Earth's world spirit fetus. It was Earth's last resort. He should not have taken it away. He should have left it to continue protecting Earth. End of this chapter. Chapter 1736. In the future, if a descendant of a Yi family could step into the God transformation stage, by relying on the bloodline imprint that he had placed on the Pangu axe, he could sense the existence of the Pangu axe. It could be considered a little trick that he had left behind. After sending the Pangu axe away, Yichin subsequently appeared above China. His eyes flashed, and he waved his sleeve. The 9 spirit cauldrons were brass in color, and there was a lifelike 5-clawed spirit dragon on each cauldron. Each spirit dragon had a different expression. Some were ferocious, some were good at making rain, and some were furious. The 9 brass spirit cauldrons floated in the air. They shone with dazzling starlight and emitted 5-colored divine light. Spiritual energy overflowed in all directions. They were extraordinary. They were the 9 spirit cauldrons that Yichin had refined 3 days ago at the expense of his cultivation base and countless natural treasures. They were called the Heaven-Seizing 9 Cauldrons. This cauldron could suppress luck, gather the spiritual veins of the 9 continents, and protect the mountains and rivers. At the next moment, with a wave of his hand, the 9 brass spirit cauldrons soared into the sky and flew towards 9 directions in China. Rumble. As they pressed down from the sky, 9 rays of 5-colored light shot into the sky and gathered in the sky above China, shining brightly. Yichin stood in the air with emperor brush in his hand. He rode on the 5-colored light. One after another, extremely mysterious formation talismans shone brightly in the sky. They stacked on top of each other and shone like stars. Suppress. As soon as the word suppress fell, a 5-colored light shot into the sky, piercing through the clouds and straight into the starry sky. The bright moonlight was plated with a layer of 5-colored flowing light. The 9-tripod mountain river formation was completed. This formation could suppress China's luck and allow China to prosper for 100 generations. Yichin stood proudly in the air and looked at China that was enveloped by the 9-tripod mountain river formation. He frowned and said to himself, "This method isn't safe enough. I need to add another one. Only then can I leave Earth without any worries. Even if I encounter a powerful enemy, I can still block them." At the next moment, he took a step forward and left Earth, once again stepping onto the ancient path of the starry sky. Countless stars flashed past, shining brightly. Yichin shone with a golden light as he used his physical strength to cast the ancient god's mystical ability. He clenched his hand and caught the star that flashed like light. It was a newborn star. The star soul inside the star core was full of vitality, and the innate spiritual chi inside It was about to condense into a crystal. In a few hundred light years, it would give birth to a new life. Yichen's cultivation base erupted. He did the same thing and captured another 3 newborn planets. He forcefully extracted a star soul that was about the size of Earth. Yichun panted and returned to the sky above Earth while sweating profusely. With a wave of his right hand, the star souls that were as white as light flew down like the Milky Way, falling from the sky and poured into Earth. At this moment, the entire Earth underwent a drastic change. The Earth shook and the mountains shook. Spiritual veins broke out of the ground, and the mountains and seas moved. The rising spiritual chi condensed into clouds in the sky. Soon, it began to rain heavily. It was spiritual liquid, an endless amount of spiritual liquid. Everyone on Earth felt the surge of spiritual chi. Countless cultivators' cultivation base increased greatly. Some old people who had been unable to break through for a long time now easily broke through and returned to their youth. There were even many newborns who awakened innate spiritual veins. The strength of Earth's immortal cultivation world increased greatly. The sky cleared up after the rain. At that moment, everyone on Earth felt that the world seemed to have become stronger. They were more energetic and their cultivation speed increased. Only Great Emperor Yi could do such an immortal-like technique. Many powerhouses could not help but kneel to the depths of the sky and say gratefully, "Thank you, Great Emperor." At the same time, Yi Chan was heading to the ancient barren world and the dark purple world. He used an immortal technique again, and the space shook. The cultivators of the 2 worlds looked up and saw the void above the sky shatter. 2 passages spiraled like a vortex. Inside, 10 colored streams of light formed a passage barrier, sealing the violent and dangerous space-time turbulence, making the passage extremely safe. The 2 worlds were completely connected to Earth. The 2 worlds shook, and the cultivators were all shocked. It was like a legend. Who is that? He actually has such a divinity. That's Great Emperor Yi. A cultivator recognized the powerful back and bowed deeply in the direction where Yi Chun left. Yi Chun did not stay for long. Soon, he arrived at Kunlun Mountain. Due to the injection of the Star Soul, Kunlun Mountain had undergone a tremendous change. Spiritual energy was abundant, and spiritual plants grew crazily. Flowers bloomed everywhere, and the mountain was like spring all year round. As he walked into it, spiritual energy assaulted his face like a spring breeze. There was even an immortal lake filled with spiritual liquid. It was as if the majesty of the ancient cultivation holy land had been recreated. It was the #1 immortal mountain in the world. Yi Chan went deep into Kunlun Mountain. He performed hand seals and created divine patterns in the air. The air was sparkling like water, and a circular door slowly formed. It was Shang Santian, Kunlun Ruins. That was where the transcendental forces of the early Earth were. Yi Chun supported himself with both arms, and the door suddenly stabilized. A white light shot out from the other end of the tunnel. He could faintly hear the exclamations of the crowd on the other side. Yi Chun walked into the tunnel and soon appeared on the other side. His disciple, Xiaoya, led the crowd to greet him. Yi Chun looked around and said slowly, "The crisis on Earth has been resolved. I'll reopen Shang Santan, and the Kunlun ruins will appear again." He looked at his disciple, Xiaoya, and said in a deep voice, "I'll appoint my disciple, Xiaoya, as the master of the Kunlun ruins. I must rebuild Kunlun Mountain into the #1 holy land of cultivation." Xiaoya was overjoyed. She knelt on one knee and shouted, "I won't let you down." Then, he left a portion of the inheritance in Kunlun ruins and told Xiaoya through voice transmission, "I'm leaving Earth. You must cultivate well and bring glory to the sect." Yes, Xiaoya had mixed feelings when she heard that her master could leave Earth. She secretly made up her mind to become stronger and catch up to her master. After being busy for a few days, Yi Chen finally returned to Lin City. He gathered the Yi family and built the Yi family's ancestral shrine. Almost all the members of the Yi family, whether direct or collateral, came for the Yi family's ancestral ceremony. They wanted to bring their juniors to meet the legendary Great Emperor Yi. After the ancestral ceremony ended, Yi Chen looked for his father, Yi Hai, and said, "Dad, I'll be leaving Earth in a few days." Yi Hai sighed softly and patted Yi Chen's shoulder. He said sincerely, "I know you've grown up and have your own ideas. Don't worry about looking for Yuhan and the rest. You have to wait until you're powerful enough before planning." Yi Chen nodded and agreed. Then he said to his father, "Yi Hai, after I leave, you can let second uncle and second aunt's reincarnation recover their memories from their previous lives." Yi Hai nodded. Yi Chen spoke again. "I've set up a divinity formation in the Lin family's ancestral shrine. If the Yi family is in danger of being annihilated in the future, they can escape here to take refuge. As long as someone with the Yi family's bloodline drips blood on the shrine's altar, the formation will be activated. Once the formation is activated, all living beings within a radius of 10,000 meters will be killed. Be careful." Chapter 1737. Today was the day Yi Chen would leave Earth. At the entrance of the Yi residence. The Yi residence's main gate was ancient and magnificent. There were 2 words Yi residence on the plaque. Cultivators could see spiritual light flashing on it. It was a defensive spirit treasure. As long as someone attacked the Yi residence, the shield would be activated. No one could break it unless they were on the body integration stage. There was a stone statue on each side. It was also a spirit treasure puppet with an azure dragon on the left and a white tiger on the right. They looked lively and lifelike. The 2 of them could fight a mastery stage soul-splitting powerhouse together. Yi Chen had spent countless treasures and even destroyed a supreme spirit treasure to refine them. Apart from that, Yi Chen had left many tricks up his sleeves. It could be said that if he did not use Pangu's axe, the Yi residence would be the safest place on Earth. After Yi Chen finished his parents' breakfast, the family walked out of the house. Yi Wen, Xiaoya, Yang Hao, Yang Tian, and the rest were waiting at the door. Everyone looked at Yi Chen reluctantly. Some of them lowered their heads and cried, while others could not stop crying, especially his cousin, Yi Wen. She ran and threw herself into Yi Chen's arms. Her tears drenched Yi Chen's clothes as she cried, "Brother, can you take me with you? I don't want to be separated from you." Yi Chen comforted her. "Silly child, you have your own path to walk. You can't stay by my side forever. I promise you that I'll come back for you guys once I stabilize in the spirit realm." Yang Tian was reluctant to leave too. He pursed his lips and said in a trembling voice, "Old Yi, you must miss me when you go there." The 2 of them looked at each other. They could see the reluctance in their eyes. Yi Chen smiled lightly and teased, "I will. After all, you're the best brother I've ever had." Yang Tian laughed out loud. He laughed until he cried. Yi Chen turned to look at the 4 witches standing behind the crowd and asked, "Are the 4 of you sure you won't leave with me?" The 4 witches shook their heads. "We're innate life forms of this world after all. Our responsibility in this life is to protect this world. After you guys leave, we'll turn into stone statues and sleep to continue our mission." Yi Chen nodded and could only give up. He then bowed deeply to the 4 witches, respecting the 4 of them who were born to protect the world. Everyone went up to say goodbye. Eventually, Yi Hai walked up and hugged Yi Chen hard. He said while sobbing, "I'll guard the house. Don't worry and go. Bring Yuhan and Ming Ming back. Come home soon." Wulan had already turned around while hugging Yi Ming. Her back was facing Yi Chen as she sobbed. Yi Ming seemed to be infected by the people's emotions. He pouted and looked at Yi Chen. Yi Chen turned his head to look at everyone's faces. He remembered them in his heart. They were his closest family members, his brothers and sisters whom he could entrust his life to. The next moment, he stepped on the air and flew into the sky with the patriarch of hell, Yi Wushuang, Ing, the golden ape, the golden toad, and the rest. He couldn't bear to watch any longer. Even if home was the warmest place, he had something he had to accomplish. Even if he died, he had to move forward. The people on the ground waved goodbye to the distant stream of light. At that moment, all of Yi Chen's old friends in China looked at the sky. They could not help but recall the days they spent with Yi Chen. That young man had become a hero who saved Earth. Now, he was going to write his legend in the outer realm. He sighed and muttered to himself softly, "Farewell, Mr. Yi." As many of them had limited talent, they were destined to experience life, old age, sickness, and death. Perhaps when Yi Chun returned a few decades later, they would have already turned into dust. However, to be able to meet the godlike, great Emperor Yi, their lives were not in vain. At the same time, the world spirit placenta in the depths of the sky trembled slightly. It seemed to be bidding farewell to Yi Chun before going back to sleep. On Kunlun Mountain, the new master of the Kunlun ruins, Xiaoya, was in high spirits. Her eyes were firm, as if she could see through the layers of clouds and see the green-clothed figure leaving. She clenched her fists tightly. "Master, I will definitely complete your task. I must become stronger." Meanwhile, everyone on Earth seemed to have a telepathic connection as they simultaneously raised their heads to look into the depths of the void. Although they could not see it, they could feel that someone very important was leaving them. He was going to a place that they would never be able to reach in their entire lives. They had already guessed that the legend of Earth would eventually leave today. At that moment, countless people knelt down and prayed into the distance. "Goodbye, great Emperor Yi." Some children were confused and asked the adults what they were doing. The adults would tell them a story. There was once an evil devil who wanted to destroy Earth. At that time, a powerhouse appeared and descended like a god. He killed the devil and saved Earth. That person was great Emperor Yi. Yichen might have left, but his story would be passed down. The people of Earth would remember everything he had done. Meanwhile, in an extremely dark place in the far north, it was bustling with noise and laughter. However, it was bustling with noise and laughter, as if they were celebrating something. At the table, there were many ferocious faces looking at the sky above their heads with resentment. One of the burly men with thick eyebrows and big eyes smashed his wine bowl hard and said happily, "Yi is finally leaving. Once he leaves, our chance to stand out will come. That's right. The day he leaves, we'll destroy his family. We'll capture his son to cultivate his divine technique and refine his parents into corpse puppets. In short, we won't let anyone with the surname Yi go." The black-robed man hiding in the dark corner laughed strangely and said in a sinister manner, "That's right, haha." Everyone laughed heartily. All of them were enemies that Yi Chan had offended over the years, or evil cultivators who had committed heinous crimes. Most of them were half-crippled or hiding like rats, afraid that Yi Chun would kill them. Therefore, they hated Yi Chun extremely. It was Yi Chun who had caused them to lose everything and could only hide in this godforsaken place. All of them gritted their teeth, wishing they could pull out his tendons, refine his bones, and tear him into pieces. Now, the butcher's knife on their necks had finally been put down. They finally did not have to hide and live in fear. As long as Yi Chun was far away, they would slaughter the entire Yi family. They must not leave even a chicken or dog alive. Many people laughed ferociously, celebrating Yi Chen's departure. It was as if they could see the moment the Yi family was destroyed. Their smiles were even more terrifying and sinister. Boom! Suddenly, a gigantic foot descended from the sky, crushing everyone with a single stomp. The ground trembled, and a huge cave was formed by the foot. It was quickly filled by seawater. The entire world fell silent. In the air, Yi Chun shook his head lightly and said while laughing, "Do you really think I'm deaf? Killing you guys is easier than stepping on an ant." At the next moment, he flew away from Earth with his men. Earth became smaller and smaller until it turned into a blue pearl. At the same time, he sighed secretly and stared at the starry sky with determination. "Goodbye, Earth. Wait for me, Yuhan." End of this chapter. Chapter 1738. In the depths of General Mountain, Yi Chun led everyone to the ancient starry sky transportation formation. An old formation was engraved on the stone plate. It looked ordinary. Everyone looked at Yi Chun. They looked at the formation talisman on it, but did not know what it was. Yi Chun took a step forward. With a wave of his hand, a pile of spirit stones appeared. The formation was activated, and the spiritual energy on the spirit stones was instantly absorbed. They turned into powder and disappeared into the starry sky. Is this the starry sky transportation formation that fella you mentioned before? The Patriarch of Hell's eyes flashed as he recognized it at a glance. Yes. Yichen nodded slightly. The ancient starry sky transportation formation talisman shone brightly. Suddenly, a ball of light rose. It was dotted with starlight and wrapped everyone in it, sending them into the passage. Are we leaving? He watched as the stars behind him streaked past him like a white line. Earth and the moon were left far behind. Even Yichun could not help but look back. He felt a trace of melancholy when he felt the stars that were connected to him by blood gradually getting further and further away. Then his originally fast body suddenly accelerated. He was traveling at the same speed as the stars outside the passage barrier that surpassed the speed of light. The two of them were traveling opposite each other. Is this the starry sky transportation? Everyone could not help but exclaim when they felt the unbelievable speed. Yichen nodded. His eyes flashed as he explained, in the starry sky, to go to other galaxies, one must rely on the starry sky transportation formation. If one travels alone in the starry sky, they will never reach their destination. Is it that far? We don't feel that far now. Yichen smiled softly and pointed outside the passage. He continued, that's because of this passage barrier. Those planets are motionless now. It's only because we flew past them that they turned into white lines. Everyone looked outside and was amazed. Yichun continued to explain, the flow of space in the passage we're in is different from the outside. We've flown 1 meter here, which is equivalent to flying 1 light year outside, or even further. Everyone came to a realization. On the deserted sea ascension planet, the surrounding starlight suddenly gathered in one place. The starlight flowed, and countless ancient mysterious runes leaped out of the water like fish, forming a stargate in the void. Yichen took a step forward, and the group finally arrived at the Big Dipper region. Is this the Big Dipper star region? Some people gazed at the starry sky for the first time. There was only endless darkness and silence. The stars beneath their feet were shattered beyond repair. Countless rocks floated in the void, their life force extinguished. Only distant stars flickered with light. This is just a wasteland. Let's go. With a wave of Yichen's right hand, a spirit boat in his sleeve turned into a stream of light and flew out. It grew bigger and bigger in the air. There were pavilions and towers on the spirit boat, as well as all kinds of living facilities. The group of them got up and flew out. They boarded the spirit ship and crossed the void quickly, heading towards the vast starry sky. In the main hall of the spirit ship, everyone sat around. Yichen took out some fine wine and spirit fruits and drank a cup. He put down the cup and said slowly, although the starry sky is beautiful, it's extremely dangerous. Remember what I'm about to say. When everyone heard this, they put away their expressions of longing for the starry sky and frowned as they listened attentively. In the starry sky, there are countless dangerous places. There are space-time turbulences, ancient forbidden lands, and even some beautiful space wonders. They're just traps that are used to hunt. There's a type of living creature that roams the starry sky called star beasts. They're powerful, so try not to kill them easily. He paused and continued. The most common ones are star pirates. They're a group of dangerous cultivators who rob passersby. They're extremely vicious. The Patriarch of Hell and the rest were also sharing their experiences of exploring the starry sky in their previous lives. They helped everyone understand the starry sky so that they could quickly adapt to the cultivation life here. At the same time, in the starry sky, there were many star fragments and some huge star stones. These star stones were some common minerals and small stars that could not nurture life. Their surface was full of potholes, and they were hidden among the rocks. It was a paradise for star pirates and other criminals. The abandoned Riverwater planet was the base of the notorious Anyang space pirate gang in this area. Boss, there's a big fish. A dim-witted star pirate rushed into the main hall in a hurry. The ferocious-looking Anyang star pirate gang leader with a scar on his face was drinking from a big bowl. When he heard this, he stood up abruptly and said happily, "Where? Lead the way." He picked up the blood-colored long saber by his feet and stepped out of the door. The other galactic pirates followed suit and grinned cruelly. There was business at their door. Rumble. In the distance, a stream of light fiercely hit the spirit ship's shield and exploded. The spirit ship shook violently, and the shield dimmed slightly. After ending the conversation, Yi Chun and the rest, who were meditating and resting in their respective rooms, heard the commotion and rushed to the deck quickly. They saw all kinds of flying ships appearing in all directions, blocking the group's path. As far as the eye could see, many star pirates on the surrounding flying ships were holding weapons, looking eager to fight. The burly man in the lead carried a long saber on his shoulder and laughed wildly. He looked at the spirit ship with a greedy gaze. Spirit ship? We're rich this time. The leader of the various flying ships was actually a soul-splitting powerhouse. In this Beidou star zone, a soul-splitting cultivator was already an overlord. After all, body-merging cultivators did not appear often. Therefore, they had repeatedly succeeded in this sea of stars and were wanted by many countries in the large planets. The bounty was frighteningly high. Unfortunately, they had encountered Yi Chun and the rest today. Yi Chun looked around. After examining the leader for a few seconds with disdain, he scoffed. Wu Shuang, go kill the leader. Yi Wuxuang nodded and slowly walked out of the spirit ship with his sword on his back. He faced the group of wolves alone with his sword. The leader of the Star Pirates was furious. He was a soul-splitting powerhouse after all, yet the other party dared to come alone. He did not take him seriously at all. He was courting death. Bloodsaber pointed and shouted, "Guys, let's attack together and kill him." The surrounding Star Pirates drove their flying ships forward. The leader's cultivation base erupted, and blood-red, true origin energy soared into the sky. He held a blood-colored long saber in his hand with a red glow surging on it. He took the lead and charged at Yi Wuxuang. Die! A blood-red saber gleam traversed heaven and earth like a scarlet half-moon, splitting the sky and earth as it swept toward Yi Wuxuang. Yi Wuxuang stood proudly in the air. His Taoist robe fluttered as he held his sword in his right hand. Whoosh! A crisp sound resounded through the starry sky. He drew his sword and sheathed it in one go. A bright white sword gleam instantly appeared before everyone's eyes. It was condensed like a thin line as it tore through the air toward the saber gleam. Boom! The saber gleam and sword shadow crossed each other. When the huge saber gleam encountered the thin line, it melted like snow meeting fire. Then, it quickly rushed toward the leader. Before he could react, the sword gleam flashed past. Warm blood splattered out, and the corpse was split into two. His eyes widened in fear, and he died with a grievance. One strike. He only used one strike to kill the other party's leader. End of this chapter. Chapter 1739. Silence. The starry sky suddenly fell into silence. The remaining galactic pirates looked at the corpse that was split into two floating in the starry sky. They panicked and were extremely terrified. Their faces were pale, and they broke out in cold sweat. It was too terrifying. Run. The rest of the galactic pirates were scared out of their wits. They trembled in fear and fled in all directions with their flying ships. Yi Chen stood at the edge of the deck. He was also a little surprised by Yi Wuxuang's sword technique. He had made a breakthrough in his sword technique. Suddenly, he opened his fingers and extended his palm. A powerful suction force swept toward the flying ships that were fleeing in all directions. The black flying ship that was closest was sucked in tightly. One of the people on the flying ship realized that he was getting closer and closer to the spirit ship in fear. He shouted frantically, "No! Save me!" Nobody responded to him. The galactic pirates sensed that the aura of the person who had just attacked was even more terrifying. Instead, they exploded at an even faster speed. They flew away on their own without looking back. That person had been unleashing his soul formation cultivation base, but was useless. He could only watch helplessly as he was sucked to the deck with a face full of despair. Yi Chen looked down at him. He had a pointy head and a thin face. Tears were rolling in his eyes, but he dared not cry. He asked slowly, "Is there any place around here where I can stay or trade information?" Yi-chan needed the ultimate water attribute energy and a way to go to the spirit realm. The easiest way was to buy information. The person's body trembled. He only snapped back to his senses after a long while. He kowtowed to the ground and cried, "As long as you let me go, I'll tell you everything." Yi-chan said coldly, "Either you tell me or you die." "I'll tell you. There's a trading planet nearby called the Black Cave Planet. I often go there with boss to steal things," the person replied hurriedly while kneeling on the ground. Taoist Master Tetian explained, "The so-called trading planet is a planet that allows cultivators from other planets to trade freely." Yichen nodded. He had known that before. Not long after, a corpse floated in the starry sky. This was a daily occurrence in the starry sky. No one cared about the interlude of the galactic pirates' robbery. At that moment, Ing stepped forward and said after thinking for a long time, "Yichen, I want to leave by myself." Yichen frowned and said softly, "Why?" Ing took a deep breath and insisted, "I have my own path to walk. I hope we can meet again in the future." With that, he disappeared cleanly into the void. Yi-chun had a complicated expression on his face, but he understood him. Ing was a prideful person. As an emperor throughout the ages, he was the most dazzling person in the world. Only by persisting in his own Tao could he become stronger. Moreover, Ing had helped him many times, so he was very grateful to have such a close friend. Yi-chun clasped his fists slightly to show his respect as he looked in the direction where Ing disappeared. After that, the golden ape and the golden toad walked out together and said in a muffled voice, "We're going to follow the master's footsteps. Everyone, let's part ways here. We'll meet again if fate allows it." With that, he left. Yi-chun clasped his fists and bid farewell again. "Fellow Taoist Yi, we should also go." Old Taoist Tatian was about to leave too. He invited Yi-chun to the clan. Yi-chun shook his head and refused. He shook his head and left with Hong Xiao. Yi-chun felt rather sad when he saw that most of the deck was empty and that most of the people had left. The Patriarch of Hell also sighed and comforted him. That's how cultivation is. Life, death, reunion, separation, and reunion are all very normal. Yi-chun nodded. They all had their own paths and their own missions. It was impossible for them to always be with him. However, he could not help but feel a little lonely. There were fewer people like him. He only hoped that they would be safe. The Black Cave Planet was a free trade planet in the Big Dipper territory. No matter who you were or what your identity was, you could trade here and be protected by the Black Cave Planet. Therefore, this place was also very popular with space pirates, sneaky people, and swindlers. The spirit ship that Yi-chun and the rest were on finally arrived at the trade planet, the Black Cave Planet. The three of them concealed their auras and looked like mid-golden core cultivators descending on the planet. Along the way, Yi-chun realized that the planet was not big. The planet was mainly composed of oceans, and the planet was filled with cultivators. The lowest cultivation base was at Golden Core, while the highest was at Soul Splitting. Yi Wushuang asked, "Big brother, what are our plans next?" Yi-chun thought for a moment and said, "Of course, we're looking for an ascension passage to the spirit realm." The spirit realm was a huge world. It cannot be reached by crossing the void. One had to find an ascension passage to reach it. The group strolled around the Black Cave Planet. There were many cultivators who set up stalls, selling some treasures and spiritual plants that had been found in dangerous places and ruins. Yi Wushuang had been strolling around, asking for information. When they passed by the sea, an old Taoist priest took the initiative to come forward. After looking at the three of them, he invited, "Fellow cultivators, are you also going overseas to look for snow ink?" The old Taoist priest cultivation base was only at mastery stage Golden Core. There were 3 men and a woman behind him. Their cultivation bases were similar, and they seemed to be independent cultivators. The snow ink that he mentioned was one of the main ingredients for refining the nascent cultivation pill. It was rather rare. Yi-chun was not interested. Just when he was about to reject, a young man behind the old Taoist priest suddenly said, "Fellow, I heard that there's a passage to the spirit realm overseas." Yi-chun's heart skipped a beat, but he said calmly, "The spirit realm is so far away. Are you trying to trick me to be your fighter? The young man panicked and said immediately, there's really a passage to the spirit realm. I saw a soul formation senior leaving through it with my own eyes. Ichin shifted his gaze and pretended to smile as he said, the ascension passage isn't attractive to me. After all, I'm just a little cultivator on the intermediate stage golden core. However, this fellow's snow ink is attractive to me. The three of them agreed to join the old Taoist priest team. The old Taoist priest then introduced proudly, I accidentally found an ancient ruin deep under the sea. I've been at the periphery, and later on, I found out that there's snow ink in the depths. Unfortunately, my ability is limited, so I can only ask for your help. The old Taoist priest continued, I found the snow ink, so I want 30%. You guys can split the rest equally. Do you have any objections? Everyone shook their heads. They had no objections. Such a distribution method was reasonable. They waited at the seaport for a while. After the old Taoist priest invited a perfect stage golden core young lady in black to join, he led everyone overseas. Yichin looked at the lady in black and realized that she had hidden her cultivation base. Her real cultivation base was actually at beginner stage void refinement. He secretly smirked without saying anything. Along the way, the young man had been wanting to chat with the lady in black. However, the lady in black was disdainful of them and said rudely, with your cultivation base, you'll be courting death if you go to such a dangerous place. She even glanced at Yi-chan on purpose after saying that and said coldly, especially you. The rest were furious. The lady in black had offended them with just one sentence. End of this chapter. Chapter 1740. Through the introduction, Yi-chun found out that the old priest's surname was Su, and the young man was called Chunggong. The other man and woman were Chunggong's siblings. The other woman in black called herself Lotus. The eight of them set off. Along the way, old priest Su was as enthusiastic as fire. He introduced the various treasures and dangerous places of Tongshan planet to everyone, teaching them his trading experience and so on. Then, he changed the topic and asked Yi-chun, Fellow Yi, where are you from? Yi-chun smiled to himself and replied, the three of us are independent cultivators from Fire Spirit Planet. Chunggong probed, I heard that something big happened on Fire Spirit Planet recently. I wonder if you can tell me about it. Are you talking about the destruction of Wood Spirit Planet and the Three Masters? Chunggong shook his head. I heard that something happened to the Fire Spirit Planet's fire domain. Yi-chan pretended to be confused and said in surprise, Fire domain? We're just ordinary independent cultivators. How can we know about the Fire Spirit Tribe's sacred land? Chunggong smiled and changed the topic. I only heard it from the grapevine. Don't mind me, fellow Yi. Yi-chan waved his hand. Subsequently, Chunggong chatted with Lotus. Lotus, however, put on a cold face and didn't pay any attention to him. The group soon arrived at a small island and teleported to the depths of the sea through the teleportation formation. Old priest Su led the way and kept moving in the deep sea. Suddenly, Yi-chan noticed something in the deep sea ahead. He probed with his divine consciousness and realized that it was the lair of two ferocious sea beasts. Yi-chan's eyes flashed. He realized that old priest Su had gone around the lair on purpose. Then, he went straight into the sea beast's lair. Roar! The two sea beasts roared and charged at everyone with their mountain-like bodies. It's a male and female golden core giant whale beast. Old priest Su pretended to be shocked. Then he charged at the male giant whale beast with the other three and shouted, Fellow Yi, the four of you deal with that one. Yi-chan faced the female giant whale beast that was charging at him. He used some physical strength and the two collided. Boom! The seawater churned and waves surged everywhere. Yi Wushuang and the other two unleashed the attack power of ordinary golden core cultivators. But it was like a drop in the ocean against the female giant whale beast. At this moment, Lotus teleported to the top of the female beast's head and pierced it with an inch of green light. Boom! A powerful Zhan Yuan exploded in its body, causing the female beast to violently writhe. Lotus attacked once again. Suddenly, the red light on the beast's body surged. Its cultivation had actually reached the peak of the gold core stage. Its huge tail swatted towards Lotus. Lotus was shocked, but when she saw Yi-chan rushing toward the giant beast, she flew into a rage. "Go away!" Yi-chan was sent flying hundreds of feet away by the giant beast. Lotus erupted with even stronger Zhen Yuan, and a sword light streaked across the sky like a green mountain, killing the huge beast. On the other side, old Taoist Su and the others had also finished their battle. The people gathered together. They could not help but feel relieved when they saw that Yi-chan was only lightly injured. Old priest Su was very vexed. "It's all my fault for leading you the wrong way." Shingon stepped forward to comfort Yi-chan. "Fellow Yi, are you all right? I have some healing medicinal pills here." How would Yi-chan dare to take his medicinal pill? "I'm fine. My body refining cultivation method is very good. It's just a minor injury." The group set off again. Old priest Su led the group around the sea again, constantly releasing some aura-eliminating formations or ambushing other people's magic treasures. He said that this was to prevent people from following them and killing them to steal their treasures. Yi-chan was surprised. This old priest was very careful. However, in the face of absolute power, these little things could not even withstand a single blow. After a long time, the group was almost impatient. Old priest Su finally arrived at the so-called ancient ruins. Old priest Su took out a token from his pocket and chanted softly. He performed a series of hand seals, and soon a light film appeared in the air. There was a red light flowing on it, and the formation was incomparably exquisite. The restriction at the entrance of the ruins was activated. Old priest Su pointed ahead and said, "The ruins are below. We have to break the restriction together to enter." Everyone attacked together, and the bottom of the sea was instantly overflowing with light. The terrifying pressure had long scared away the living beings within 100 miles. Rumble. The restriction shook crazily, and the red light dimmed. Then it was broken, and the impact stirred up shocking waves in all directions. The restriction was broken, revealing a broken stone door. There were complicated carvings and huge stone pillars on both sides. All of them showed the glory of the ancient times and the extraordinariness of the owner of the ruins. Old priest Su took the lead and entered the ruins while the rest followed behind. Inside the ruins, gravel and broken walls were everywhere. Many decorations made of spiritual plants had long decayed, and the air was filled with a rotten and damp smell. "Be careful. I've only been in the periphery. There are many formations and traps in the inner area." Old priest Su passed through the periphery with ease. Soon, he arrived at a tunnel. There was a faint palace on the other side of the tunnel. Old priest Su looked at the tunnel nervously. "I came here last time, so I dare not go any further. Let's think of a way to go there together." Yi-chan observed the layout of the ruins along the way, and combined with the decorations, he guessed that the ruins were an ancient underwater immortal sect. The periphery was the outer disciple area, and behind the tunnel was the inner sect, the real sect. On both sides of the tunnel was a dark and deep underwater abyss. Even a soul-splitting cultivator would die if they fell into it. Meanwhile, the only tunnel had a killing formation activated. There were many killing formations along the way, and they were all interconnected. Those below void refinement would definitely die if they barged in. They had to find the eye of the formation here to break it. Old priest Su looked at the tunnel and frowned. "We can't resist the killing formation in this tunnel. How can we go through it?" At that moment, the young man took the initiative to stand out. He looked at the tunnel with confidence. "I know a thing or two about formations, so I'll give it a try." He floated to the tunnel after saying that. The formation suddenly exploded, and countless saber gleams appeared out of nowhere. They shot at the young man as if the young man would be pierced by thousands of sabers in the next second. "Break!" The young man shouted and took a step forward. The young man's clothes fluttered even though there was no wind. A gust of wind rose into the sky and destroyed the sabers that were surrounding him. Subsequently, the young man broke a few formations consecutively and found the eye of the formation. His true origin exploded and he slammed it down. The floor shattered and gravel flew everywhere. The killing formation in the tunnel was broken. Old priest Su was overjoyed and immediately led everyone to catch up. He smiled. With young master here, the snow ink is in the bag. Old priest Su led the way to avoid the traps while the young man broke the formation. It was a daunting journey, but there was no danger. Soon, they arrived at the intersect. Yi-chun was amazed when he saw the duo's cooperation. Did they really just know each other? Soon, they entered a ruined palace. Many broken stone pillars fell to the ground, and only half of a broken plaque was left hanging. The word treasure was written on it. Chapter 1741. As soon as they walked to the middle of the hall, a hoarse and sharp roar suddenly came from the small room in the corner. It was like the sound of sharp nails rubbing against metal, sending chills down their spines. Boom! The 8 zombies were absorbed by the living aura. They charged out of the corner like crazy and surrounded the group. Oh no, they're all Mastery Stage Golden Core zombies. One of them is a perfect stage Golden Core one. Old Taoist Su's expression was grim as he gripped the weapon in his hand tightly. Kill! Lotus charged at the perfect stage Golden Core zombie directly. Yi-chan said to Yi Wushuang and the Patriarch of Hell through voice transmission, "Don't expose your cultivation base. Just fight them with your Golden Core cultivation base." Soon, the 8 of them fought the 8 zombies. Such zombies were cultivated by the sect, using medicinal baths on the corpses of their disciples. Their skin was invulnerable, and they were not afraid of pain. They could only destroy their hearts with powerful, true origin energy. Cultivators on the same level could not defeat most zombies. In the hall, the explosion of true origin energy shook the air, causing dust to fly in the air. Yi-chun was more than enough to face a Golden Core zombie. He observed secretly while fighting. Chung Gong's feet were covered in wind as he shot wind blades in his hands continuously. He kept attacking the zombie's heart, and a hole appeared in the zombie's chest. Meanwhile, Lotus was even more powerful. She used a green gleam as a sword and performed a sharp sword technique. The green gleam was like an arrow, causing the perfect stage Golden Core zombie to retreat. Its heart was almost exposed. However, the rest were in a difficult situation. Their attacks were limited to the zombies, but they were still charging at them while roaring. Suddenly, something happened on Old Taoist Su's side. His true origin energy hit the broken stone pillar by mistake, causing it to fall toward Yi-chun and the rest. "Watch out!" the Chung sibling shouted. The golden gleam on Yi-chun's body shone brightly. His cultivation base was still at the Golden Core level, but his physical strength was stronger. He pushed the zombie back with a punch and leaped up. He jumped onto the stone pillar and kicked like a whip. Boom! The stone pillar shattered into a few pieces in the air and flew around. Yi Wushuang and the rest destroyed the broken stone pillar easily and were unharmed. Viciousness flashed through Chung Gong's eyes when he saw that Yi-chun and the rest were safe. Yi-chun landed on the ground and fought the zombie again. He glanced at Old Taoist Su coldly. Kill! Lotus unleashed a stunning sword attack. The green sword ray condensed into a needle and pierced the zombie's heart. Bang! The zombie's heart was crushed, and black blood flowed out of it. It collapsed like a stone. Lotus then turned around and joined forces with Chung Gong to kill the zombie before helping the others. In the end, all 8 zombies were lying on the ground. Their black blood gave off the smell of rotting plants. After a fierce battle, only 2 people were lightly injured. After all, zombies had no intelligence, so it was difficult for them to kill everyone. Old Taoist Su panted heavily. His hand that was holding his weapon trembled slightly. He looked at Yi-chun apologetically. Fellow Yi, I almost killed you in the battle earlier. Yi-chun pretended to be exhausted and exhausted. He said calmly, "It was just an accident. Moreover, I'm fine." He clasped his fists at Yi-chun and said, "Let's continue forward." Finally, Old Taoist Su led everyone through a narrow aisle. Their eyes lit up. On the left was a large shelf filled with porcelain bottles. The shelf was made of top-grade spiritual plants. It was a treasure in itself, but it still looked brand new. On the weapon shelf on the right, there were some magic treasures that were glowing with spiritual light. There were also some spirit stones and materials for refining weapons and medicine in other places. This is the treasure vault. Old Taoist Su and the rest were burning with desire when they saw the magic treasures and medicinal pills that countless low-level cultivators would go crazy for. The greed in their eyes was on the verge of bursting out. Yi Chun, on the other hand, pretended to heal his injuries. In reality, he was watching the situation coldly. He was not interested at all. Everyone rushed in and the old Taoist shouted, "Fellow cultivators, we still need to look for the snow ink. Let's split these treasures equally." Everyone calmed down a little and continued moving after splitting the treasures. Yi Chun and the other two were at the back. Yi Wushuang said through voice transmission, "Brother, that old Taoist did it on purpose." Yi Chun nodded and chuckled softly. "I know. I just want to see what they're doing." After passing through the maze-like tunnel again, they eventually arrived at a huge palace. It was so huge that they could not see everything at a glance. The palace was well-maintained with spiritual wood carvings and marble tiles. The decorations were grand and majestic. There was a transparent treasure weapon in the middle of the hall. They could see the ink-like spiritual liquid inside. It was emitting a glow as if there was a celestial glow flowing around it. There was cold air flowing around the treasure weapon, and there were ice crystals in the air. The snow ink! The people cheered in excitement. At that moment, Chung Gong and old Taoist Su, who were standing at the door on purpose, laughed out loud. The Chung siblings looked at the duo in confusion. They asked, "Brother Chung, what are you guys laughing at?" Yi Chun and the rest looked at each other. They were secretly on high alert at the same time. The atmosphere around them was extremely strange, especially the demonic look on Chung Gong and old Taoist Su's faces. It was chilling. Chung Gong and old Taoist Su laughed out loud at the same time. Their laughter echoed in the entire palace. They cursed at the same time, "A bunch of idiots." The crowd suddenly realized that the duo's actions, expressions, and even the tone of their voices were exactly the same. The crowd was shocked. Someone pointed at them in horror and said with a trembling voice, "Old Taoist Su has been refined into a puppet by Chung Gong." Chung Gong smiled ferociously and said in a creepy voice, "This will be your burial ground. You're all just food for master." The Chung siblings were dumbfounded. They said in fear, "No, we are brothers of the same clan. You can't do this to us." The smile on Chung Gong's face became even more terrifying. The demonic energy on his body surged and became extremely vicious. "What can you do? As long as I feed you to master, my strength will increase greatly, and I will be the successor of the clan leader." As soon as he finished speaking, the palace shook violently. Dust and gravel kept falling from above. A crack suddenly appeared in the main hall in front of them. Demonic energy poured out from the crack, covering the sky and covering the earth. The entire palace was covered in demonic energy. A terrifying pressure spread out, causing everyone to be dumbfounded. They saw a thick broken horn sticking out, followed by a huge pitch-black body. The hands were even bigger than the body, and they could easily hold the stone pillars in the palace that were as big as sea beasts. The ancient demon had awakened. Everyone was frightened out of their wits. The Chung siblings' faces were ashen, and their bodies were stiff. This was an ancient demon that was comparable to a void training stage cultivator. Yi Chen's eyes flashed. He suddenly realized that Chung Gong and old Taoist Su were nowhere to be seen. He frowned as he realized that Chung Gong had been possessed by the ancient demon. The ancient demon was Chung Gong. The ancient demon seemed to be sealed in this palace. It could only use Chung Gong's identity to spread the news of the ruins. It used treasures as bait to attract cultivators to come and take its life essence. It would then become powerful and break the seal. End of this chapter. Chapter 1742. They stared at the monstrous shadow that covered the entire underground palace. At this moment, everyone's expression changed. They had not expected such a terrifying existence to exist here. "Run, run." The Chung siblings were horrified. Without another word, they turned and ran. Boom! With a loud bang, all the exits of the hall were blocked. There was no way out. Everyone could not help but feel despair. Yi Chun, who was in the crowd, stared at the ancient fiend phantom in shock. Even though he had already realized that Cheng Gong was up to no good, even though he had realized that Cheng Gong was hiding something, he did not expect that there would be an ancient demon here. Yi Chun subconsciously glanced at the black-clothed woman. He found that Lotus was not at all shocked by the ancient demon's appearance. In fact, he could see the monstrous hatred in her eyes. At that moment, Lotus took off her black robe, revealing an extremely moving face. Her heroic appearance revealed a bone-deep hatred for the ancient demon. That's the Blue Lotus Fairy. Someone recognized at a glance that the black-clothed woman was the Blue Lotus Fairy. The Blue Lotus Fairy was ranked 9th on the Big Dipper Prodigy list. The Wood Spirit Clan genius, who had chased after Huoxian, was ranked 30th on the list. She had only cultivated several hundred lotuses and relied on her exquisite blue lotus ore technique to defeat a void refinement stage powerhouse. Now that she had reached the void refinement stage, she would definitely be able to defeat the ancient demon. When everyone saw her, they were overjoyed. They calmed down as if they had found their backbone. The Blue Lotus Fairy coldly looked at the ancient demon and gnashed her teeth. You've finally shown yourself. My father died because of you. Today, I will avenge him. Lotus walked towards the ancient demon. With each step, her hatred for the ancient demon grew. With each step, her cultivation grew stronger. Her aura rose from peak golden core to peak golden core. Then, her true essence surged, and she broke through to the void refinement stage. For 500 years, the ancient devil had controlled cultivators like Cheng Gong, cultivators with a demonic nature in their hearts. Then, he ordered them to lure low-level cultivators from the outside world to become his food. Fairy Blue Lotus's father had been one of his victims 500 years ago. In the past, you lured my father to death by searching for treasures. Today, I will use the same method to kill you. The Blue Lotus sword seemed to be able to feel Fairy Blue Lotus's hatred. It constantly vibrated in the void, sending out sharp sword lights that cut through the void. Fairy Blue Lotus grasped her sword, and true essence rose. A blue light seemed as if it could pierce through the palace as it hurtled towards the ancient demon. Kill! The two sides fought fiercely, shattering the void and shaking the mountains. It was as if the ruins were about to collapse. At the same time, Cheng Gong and old Taoist Su, who had disappeared into the devil Qi, charged towards the crowd. Their bodies were shrouded in devilish Qi, and their appearances were hideous. Their cultivations had actually reached the half-step void refinement realm. Be careful, Yi Chun shouted. A person rushed towards Cheng Gong. Yi Wushuang spoke to Yi Chun through voice transmission while fighting old Taoist priest Su. Brother, should we attack? Don't worry. I can feel that there is something strange within the ancient devil's body. Fairy Blue Lotus can still deal with him. Yi Chun was retreating from Cheng Gong's attacks as he transmitted his voice. Cheng Gong laughed strangely and said complacently, Little brat, your physical body is very strong. You must be delicious food. Cloud staircase kick. Yi Chun retracted his leg. Bang! The kick was enveloped by Cheng Gong's devil Qi. It was as if he had fallen into a swamp. He lost all his strength and was stuck in it. Cheng Gong laughed out loud when he saw Yi Chun fall into the devil Qi. He seized the opportunity to get close to Yi Chun and stabbed his devil palm into Yi Chun's heart. Yi Wushuang suddenly exploded and joined the battle. He slashed Cheng Gong's devil palm that was about to take Yi Chun's life and forced Yi Chun to retreat. On the other side, blue lotus flowers bloomed all around Fairy Blue Lotus's body. She was like a lotus pond in autumn, enchanting, but also dangerous. The green lotus flowers exploded on the ancient demon's body. Black blood splattered everywhere, and the giant palm was a bloody mess. Ha! The seal is finally broken. I've recovered my strength. Suddenly, the ancient demon threw his head back and laughed. An even more powerful aura surged out of his body, and the green lotus flowers were instantly destroyed. A powerful shock wave spread out in all directions. Bang! Many stone pillars collapsed, and dust flew everywhere. Everyone was sent flying. The Chung siblings' true energy shield was broken, and they slammed into the wall. They were seriously injured and fainted. When the dust dissipated, the palace was in a mess. After seeing the ancient demon, everyone gasped. Their hearts were like monstrous waves. The ancient demon's cultivation base was at the early stage of the divine splitting stage. Fairy Blue Lotus coughed out a mouthful of blood and stood up to face the ancient demon's terrifying pressure. She was unwilling. Am I going to die in the hands of this demon today? She gritted her teeth, and her eyes revealed the desire to die. She shouted to everyone, "Run! I'll hold it back." Chung Gong, an old Taoist Su, suddenly appeared at the exit and said viciously, "You will all die today." The strange thing was that Chung Gong's arm had actually grown back. At this moment, Yi Chan stood between Fairy Blue Lotus and the ancient demon. He was facing the ancient demon. Fairy Blue Lotus looked at Yi Chan in shock and then said angrily, "I told you to leave." The ancient demon looked at Yi Chan, who was like a fool. He revealed a bloody mouth and said fiercely, "No one can run. You will all die." Yi Chan smiled gently. His powerful and confident voice sounded like the voice of an immortal descending from heaven. "Wu Shuang, go kill the dog that's barking at the door. Leave it to me." Yi Wushuang grinned, and his cultivation base erupted. He charged at Chung Gong, an old Taoist Su, with his sword. Fairy Blue Lotus was incomparably shocked. Yi Wushuang, an old Taoist Su, were at the soul-splitting stage. Then, she looked at the mysterious Yi Chan. Heaven-burning palm. The void suddenly began to burn, and the crimson flames gradually formed into a palm that pressed down on the ancient devil. The ancient demon's demonic energy gushed out like a tide. His aura rose steadily. The giant palm of demonic energy pushed out, and a powerful force erupted like a storm, shattering the void and shaking the world. Boom! Flames exploded. No, what kind of power is that? The ancient demon was shocked to find that his incomparably powerful soul-splitting strength was useless. He could not withstand a single blow from Yi Chan. The burning flame easily burned his demonic energy. Ah! The ancient demon's screams echoed throughout the ruins. It was incomparably tragic. Fairy Blue Lotus watched as Yi Chan killed the ancient demon with a single palm. She was dumbstruck as she looked at the mysterious and powerful figure. "No, please let me go. I'm willing to be your servant." The ancient demon's miserable begging for mercy woke the stunned Fairy Blue Lotus. Then, she screamed at the top of her lungs, "Kill! Kill it!" The flames seemed to hear her voice, and soon, the ancient demon was burned to ashes. A stream of light flew out of the ashes. Yi Chan absorbed it into his palm and refined it. It was the ancient demon's spiritual memory. After Yi Chan digested it, he came to a complete realization. It turned out that the ancient demon came from a small realm in the spirit realm called the Heavenly Origin Stage. A long time ago, a Heavenly Origin Stage human cultivator built this passage and escaped to the Big Dipper region. Unfortunately, he was discovered by a powerhouse from an underwater sect who guarded this place and was sealed here. As expected, he found the passage to the spirit realm in his mind. End of this chapter. Chapter 1743. On the other side, Yi Wushuang and the other young man had already killed Chung Gong, an old Taoist Su. The three of them met up. Fairy Blue Lotus watched as Yi Chan floated towards her like an immortal. She endured her injuries and stood up. She deeply bowed, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Thank you, Senior, for saving my life and for helping me kill the enemy that killed my father." Yi Chan looked at her heavily injured body and sighed softly. With a wave of his hand, Fairy Blue Lotus fainted on the ground. "This girl has a pure and innocent heart." Yi Chan shook his head secretly as he looked at her. He then waved his sleeve and erased a part of her memory. "Let's take a look inside." Yi Chan spoke. The three of them walked into the depths of the palace. Following the ancient devil's memories, the three of them quickly found the passage to the spirit world inside the palace. It was an underground palace surrounded by tall, dark brown walls. There was only a staircase in the middle that stretched as far as the eye could see. As Zhang Xian ascended the staircase that seemed to lead to the heavens, a massive teleportation formation appeared before him. The teleportation formation runes engraved on the walls were ancient and profound. The stone walls flickered with starlight, as if one could see the distant starry sky of the spirit realm. Yichen looked straight ahead and took a deep breath. The other side was the spirit realm. The three of them looked at each other. There was no need for them to say anything. Their gazes spoke for themselves. Yichen waved his sleeve, and spirit stones poured out like an avalanche. As spiritual energy was injected, the teleportation formation was activated. It was as if a gigantic abyss had appeared on the endless wall. Yichen and the other two stepped into it. Spiritual realm, here I come. A halo enveloped Yichen, the patriarch of hell, and Yi Wuxuan. Subsequently, they disappeared from where they were, leaving only the ashes of the spirit stones echoing in the underground palace. In the passageway, as soon as the three of them appeared, they didn't even have time to look around before a bolt of purple lightning tore through the air and struck them. Boom! It's the void thunder. Patriarch Yellow Spring's expression changed drastically. Why is there void thunder here? Be careful! Yichen yelled and activated his quintessential energy shield to block the thunderous attack. The powerful impact shook the internal organs of the three people until they were dizzy. They discovered that the transportation passage was extremely unstable. Space storms were wreaking havoc everywhere, bombarding the three of them. The trio's quintessential origin shields flickered. Yichen cast stabilizing formations while Yi Wuxuan blocked with his sword qi. The Patriarch of Hell's quintessential origin shield was injected into the shield. Just as the three of them heaved a sigh of relief, rumble, an earth-shattering sound of thunder came from afar. Even though it was very far away, everyone who heard it couldn't help but feel a sense of fear. Before the thunder was done, a bolt of lightning the size of a giant beast tore through the air. It turned into a lightning dragon and charged toward Yichen and the rest. There was even black void thunder mixed in with the deep purple lightning. That was the void thunder. Even a tribulation transcendent stage cultivator would pale in fear. Even a tribulation transcendent stage cultivator would be in danger of dying. Patriarch Yellow Spring's expression changed drastically, and despair filled his heart. Am I going to die here today? Give it your all. Don't hold back. Yichen's calm voice came in her ears. His hands turned into phantoms, and with the emperor brush in one hand, he drew array after array in the void, striking out profound talismans. The night demon battle armor transformed into a black shield that protected the three of them from the inside out. His physical strength exploded, and golden light fused into the shield. Immortal slaying flying saber. 3 pure ones in one breath. Emperor Green would finger. Powerful energy exploded, shaking the void. Even the passage barrier was shaking. Bang! Yichen's divinity was torn apart by the lightning dragon. The terrifying impact weakened the lightning power, but the lightning dragon still charged at the three of them. Yichen stood in front of the lightning dragon to protect the two of them. He took the void lightning on his own. Bang! The void exploded, and countless spatial storms shattered. Bleck! Yichen was sent flying. He spat a mouthful of blood out of his mouth. The blood floated in the air and emitted golden gleams. Yichen was severely injured. Brother! Yichen! Yi Wuxuan and Yichen immediately caught Yichen, who was floating weakly in the air. It was not Yichen's first time taking a teleportation formation since he embarked on the path of cultivation. However, this time, it was incomparable to the past. This time, he was flying to a world like the spirit realm. Not to mention shattering the void, even he could not withstand the rule power and void lightning contained in it easily. As the space squeezed, the storm shook. After an unknown period of time, the space finally stabilized. The aura of some living beings finally came from the end of the passage. The stable space exit emitted a dazzling white light. Yichen finally heaved a sigh of relief. His tense mind relaxed, and his severely injured body suddenly lost its strength. He fainted. In the desolate and uninhabited valley, there were bare, withered trees everywhere. The cawing of crows echoed in the forest. The earth was very dry, and there were cracks everywhere. It was fragmented, and the entire world seemed to be dyed red with blood. Yichen woke up slowly and slowly felt his injured body. Fortunately, only his spiritual power was dried up, and his meridians were damaged. He forced a smile to himself. He had been careless. He should not have opened the teleportation formation so rashly. After all, no one could guarantee that this teleportation formation was safe. Subsequently, he forced himself to sit up and looked around. He realized that he was in a dark, desolate valley. He could not see the end of it at a glance. Whether it was the trees or the flowers and plants, they were all withered yellow or dead gray. There was no sign of life at all, and the nearby rivers all emitted a rotten smell. In the gray sky above him, a blood-red sun hung, and there were 3 similar suns hanging on the horizon. Everything seemed so strange. Yi Chen's expression changed slightly when he sensed the faint demonic energy around him. Demonic energy? Could I have arrived at the Devil Realm? At this moment, he was shocked to realize that Yi Wushuang and the Patriarch of Hell were no longer around him. He released his divine consciousness to cover the surroundings, but he did not sense their auras at all. After sensing again, he could not help but exhale. Fortunately, he could still sense Yi Wushuang, but he did not know where the former was exactly. Yichen did not know whether to laugh or cry. This so-called teleportation formation was probably random. Different people would be teleported to different places. He could not help but force a smile. He could only hope that the 2 of them were in this world. Otherwise, it would be difficult to find them in such a huge spirit realm. At this moment, he thought of something and suddenly sensed traces of a battle in the distance. He controlled his divine consciousness to look over and saw 3 ferocious-looking men filled with murderous aura chasing after a female human cultivator. Yichen recognized that the 3 of them were demons. The female cultivator kept running toward him. When she saw Yichen, her lips moved and she fell to the ground in exhaustion. The 3 demons chased after her. One of the demons smiled cruelly when he saw the female cultivator. The ferocious genitals on his lower body pierced through the woman's body. Then he stuck out his scarlet tongue and swallowed the woman. Yichen could only watch as the person died. He wanted to save her, but his body was injured and his spiritual power was exhausted. He could not do anything. At that moment, the 3 demons had already noticed Yichen. They said in the demon language, "Human." The man-eating demon was about to kill Yichen when he was stopped by the leading demon. "Wait, this person is quite handsome. Keep him alive and bring him back to see the demon queen Medusa." End of this chapter. Chapter 1744. Yichen could not help but be stunned. He was thinking about how to get rid of the 2 of them, but he was spared because he was good-looking. The reason gave him a strange feeling. However, since there was no danger for the time being, he chose to stay silent. Instead of running around in his current state, he might as well endure it and figure out the situation. The demon leader seemed to do such things often. He studied Yi Chen's appearance and subsequently tied him up with a magic weapon before taking him away. The blood-red sun dimmed significantly. The dark red sunlight shone on the narrow path in the valley. The roars of demons came from the withered forest on both sides, sending chills down one's spine. The man-eating demon was especially excited. He pointed at Yi Chen and asked the demon leader, "Hall, what do you think the queen will reward us when we return to the settlement?" Hall smiled. He was also very happy to be able to catch someone as good-looking as Yi Chen. He said in satisfaction, "Demon Queen Samantha likes those beautiful human male cultivators. She'll definitely reward you handsomely if you serve her in bed." At this point, the man-eating demon trembled all over and said to Hall softly, "I saw the demon queen Medusa eating those human male cultivators last time. She won't let them die. She'll eat them bit by bit before dying. It's a life worse than death." Hall was furious when he heard that and scolded, "Shut up." A demon that had just eaten a human was afraid. How cruel was the demon queen Medusa's way of eating? Yichen listened quietly as his eyes flickered. He learned that this place seemed to be the gathering place of the devil tribe, the holy Tuo tribe. The leader of this tribe was a female demon who appeared to be at the void tempering stage. She was known as Munsa, and she was extremely lecherous. She liked to keep beautiful male cultivators as pets. She would swallow any human cultivator after she was tired playing with them. Yichin could not help but wonder if he had really been teleported to the demon realm. Along the way, Hall kept a close watch on Yichin. Soon, he was escorted to the demon tribe's settlement. As soon as he entered the settlement, Yichin saw a shocking scene. There were mines on both sides of the gate. Many human cultivators were enslaved and had their feet shackled as they dug for ore. If anyone slacked off or made any strange movements, the demon next to them would whip them. With a loud slap, the skin on their backs split open and flesh splattered everywhere. There were even demons who swallowed human cultivators alive in front of everyone's eyes. The other human cultivators continued to work as if they were used to it. There was no emotion in their eyes, only numbness, as if being eaten by the demons was a form of release and despair. Yichin had never thought that the humans enslaved by the demons would live like this. He couldn't help but think of Earth. If he hadn't defeated the Devil Lord, would Earth have suffered the same fate and his family would have been eaten? Thinking of this, a ball of anger rose in his heart. He glanced at the demonic cultivator with a murderous look. Hall brought him into the dungeon. The environment inside was even worse, and the human cultivators were even more miserable. The dark dungeon was incomparably humid. The human cultivators were locked up in cages all around. Their scapulae were shackled, and their cultivation was sealed. They were hung on the wall, on the verge of death, like walking corpses. Ha! A demon's wanton laughter came from ahead. Yichin's expression turned grim when he passed by. When Hall saw his expression, he sneered. You humans are destined to be slaves of the sacred tribe. Yichin sighed to himself. If not for the fact that he had lost his cultivation base, he would have started a massacre long ago. He saw some young demons torturing and killing human cultivators. Some demons were on the bodies of human female cultivators and even wriggling wildly on the corpses. They were worse than beasts. Yichin closed his eyes tightly, not wanting to watch anymore. It was as if he had passed through a very long and dark passage. Yichin was thrown into the dungeon. The demons beside him held the torture tools in their hands and were about to pierce through Yichin's scapulae. When Hall saw this, he flew into a rage. He kicked the demon away and lectured loudly. This person is a tribute to the Lord Demon Lord. Don't hurt him. Watch him well. Then he turned around and left. After all the demons had left the dungeon, Yichin looked around. Seeing the cultivators imprisoned with him, they all turned their heads to look at him sympathetically. An old cultivator in the corner glanced at him and could not help but say sympathetically, "That coquettish which has another, gigolo now." Were they speaking the spirit realm language? Yichin's heart skipped a beat. Were they cultivators from the spirit realm? Was this not the demon realm? Thinking to this point, Yichin could not help but ask in the spirit realm language, "Fellow cultivators, what is this place?" The old man from before looked at him in surprise. "Fellow cultivator, you don't know that this is the Shungtua tribe?" Yichin shook his head and said in a low voice, "To tell you the truth, something went wrong in my cultivation, causing my memory and cultivation base to be damaged." When everyone heard this, they shook their heads in unison. The old man sighed helplessly and said slowly, "This is called the Heavenly Yuan Territory. It's a realm in the spirit realm." Heavenly Yuan Territory? Yichin's eyes flashed. Millions of years ago, the spirit realm was still a whole. However, following the successive wars with the demon realm and the underworld, the spirit realm was shattered into countless fragments. The Heavenly Yuan Territory happened to be one of the fragments. However, the Heavenly Yuan Territory was a demon disaster area. Other than a small number of human settlements, most of them were demon settlements. The demon tribe enslaved all human cultivators. Only a small number of human powerhouses formed their own territory and survived the encirclement of demon powerhouses. This demon king Samantha was one of the 36 demon kings of the heavenly origin stage. She was a demon general, and her cultivation was equivalent to the void training stage. This place was called the Sheng Tuo tribe. Above her were 18 demon emperors of the soul, severing stage, and 9 demon masters of the body integration stage. Subsequently, the old cultivator cried emotionally. Those demon beasts crippled the human cultivator's cultivation base after capturing them. They fed them demonic dissolving powder and made them do manual labor. They were responsible for mining, feeding demonic beasts, and so on. Some of them, he was sobbing at the end. Yichin shook his head lightly. He had seen those people earlier. They were probably living a life worse than death. Thinking to this point, he could not help but worry about the Patriarch of Hell, Yiwu Shuang, and the rest. It seemed like he had to recover his strength as soon as possible. He secretly made up his mind and asked, "Why can't I feel the existence of spiritual energy in this world?" Along the way, Yi Chun was surprised to find that there was no spiritual energy here. His dried-up spirit vein did not absorb any spiritual energy at all. The cultivator next to him sighed and explained, "A demon realm almighty has converted the spiritual energy into demonic energy in this world. This world is no longer suitable for human cultivators to cultivate. Is there any way to absorb spiritual energy to recover my strength?" Yichin asked while frowning. The cultivator shook his head. "Yes, the mine outside is used to mine spirit stones. You can recover your strength with spirit stones. However, the demon clan has a strict control over spirit stones. It's almost impossible to get spirit stones." Into this chapter, Chapter 1745. It's a pleasant surprise that there's a spirit stone mine. Flames danced in Yi Chen's eyes. At that moment, the dungeon door was opened again. The light from the torches outside shone in, bringing warmth to the dark and damp cell. Then, a human cultivator swaggered in and pointed at Yi Chun arrogantly. "You're lucky that Queen Samantha has taken a liking to you. Come with me to take a shower and change your clothes. We'll sleep with her tonight." As soon as they saw this person, many of the imprisoned cultivators started cursing and swearing, and every single one of them was a vicious curse. "Primordial Taoist Master, you traitor of the human race. Demon Lackey, you'll die a horrible death." This person was called Primordial Taoist Master. He was originally a master stage, nascent soul cultivator. After falling into the hands of the demons, he actually fawned over them and was trusted by Queen Samantha. He became her lackey and persecuted other human cultivators. A bunch of lowly slaves. Primordial Taoist Master cursed and walked into the cell. He pulled Yi Chin up and carried him out of the dungeon. "If you don't want to die now, follow me obediently." Yi Chin observed him secretly from the side. This person had flaxen hair and a pair of lazy, bright eyes. He was tall and slender. He looked dignified and handsome. It was no wonder that he was trusted by the lustful queen. He had become a so-called traitor. At the same time, Yi Chin's eyes turned grim. He was surprised to find that this person's cultivation base was at Golden Core. This primordial Taoist master's cultivation base was not crippled. It seemed like he had obtained it by joining the demons. That meant that he had spirit stones that could be used for cultivation. Yi Chin took a deep breath in and calmed down. He pretended to be in despair and said nothing. He allowed Primordial Taoist Master to take him away. Along the way, Yi Chin saw all sorts of mines and spirit stones, but there was a small group of demon troops guarding them. Yi Chin's eyes flashed. It seemed like he still had to get spirit stones from Primordial Taoist Master to recover his strength. Yi Chin smiled lightly at Primordial Taoist Master and asked, "Master, what's the purpose of so many troops over there?" Primordial Taoist Master turned around and glanced at him. He could not help but feel jealous when he saw that Yi Chin's face was even more handsome than his. In the end, he looked at him with disdain. "You piece of trash. You're about to become the queen's plaything and be eaten. Why are you asking?" Yi Chin stopped asking after noticing that he was so alert. Soon enough, Taoist Primordial Chaos brought him to a bathroom. The so-called bathroom was nothing more than a lake. Primordial Taoist Master pushed Yi Chin hard and shouted, "Hurry up!" Yi Chin plunged into the water before him and looked around secretly. He realized that there was a formation blocking him. He then saw Taoist Primordial Chaos not far away from him. He took out a spirit stone, sat cross-legged, and began to cultivate. Yichen had a thought. He knew that if he were to fall into the hands of the demonist now, he might really be squeezed dry. The spirit stones in Taoist primordial chaos's hands were an opportunity. Thinking to this point, Yichen used the sound of flowing water to cover the sound of his footsteps. He arrived behind the primordial Taoist master without making a sound. A spirit needle appeared between his fingers and pierced the back of the primordial Taoist master's neck. Taoist primordial chaos Taoist suddenly felt uneasy and alert. He turned around abruptly and saw Yichen stabbing him with a spirit needle. Enraged, his quintessential origin energy burst forth. He could not let Yichen unleash his quintessential origin energy. Yichen's heart sank. Then he came up with an idea. At the critical moment, demonic energy gathered in his eyes like two deep vortexes, sucking people's souls into them. The demon tribe's secret technique, demon pupil of incubus. Taoist primordial chaos Taoist master's expression was ferocious, his eyes constantly struggling. Suddenly, the quintessential origin energy that erupted stopped abruptly. His eyes slowly became lifeless and empty as he stood there in a daze. After controlling Taoist primordial chaos Taoist master, Yichen secretly exhaled. Subsequently, he found a red embroidered magic treasure on Taoist primordial chaos Taoist master's robe and took out the spirit stones, magic treasures, and so on from his storage bag. Unfortunately, there were only dozens of spirit stones, and they were all low-grade spirit stones. Yichen mumbled, "Pauper." Subsequently, he immediately sat cross-legged and cultivated, quickly absorbing the spirit stones. Soon, the dozens of low-grade spirit stones were all absorbed. Meanwhile, his cultivation base had recovered to mastery stage golden core. Yichen was overjoyed. He could barely protect himself now that he was improving. On the way here, the heavily guarded mines were bound to be spirit veins. He had to find a way to sneak in and obtain more spirit stones. He looked at the wood-like, primordial chaos Taoist in front of him and came up with a plan. 9 transformations of the true spirit. After that, he killed the primordial chaos Taoist and searched his memories. It turned out that the heavily guarded place was a medium-sized mine under the command of Demon Queen Medusa. In the next moment, he used the true spirit 9 transformations to transform into Taoist primordial chaos and strode out of the shower room. The sentinel demon that was dozing off was startled. When he woke up and saw that it was Taoist primordial chaos, he immediately lowered his head and said respectfully, "May I ask what's the matter, Lord Primordial Chaos?" Yichen was surprised. Was the primordial Taoist master's status that high? Then, he imitated Taoist primordial's tone and said coldly, "I'm ordered by Demon King Medusa to patrol the nearby mines. I want to go in." The devil cultivator revealed a troubled expression and said in a low voice, "Sir, may I ask if you have Demon King Medusa's warrant? Otherwise, according to the rules, you can't go in." Yichen glared at him hatefully and threatened him. "I'll report you for neglecting your duty earlier." The devil cultivator's body trembled. Thinking of his boss's disgusting taste, his face turned pale and he hurriedly said, "Sir, you go in first. I can give you the warrant later." The devil cultivator lowered his head and bowed, sending Yichen into the tunnel respectfully. Along the way, he saw many human cultivators holding pickaxes in the dark spirit vein. They waved them numbly, turning a deaf ear to the sound of whips beside them. Even if they hit their bodies, they would not feel anything. Yichen could not help but speed up his footsteps. He arrived at a deserted place. Bang! He threw a punch forward and used his physical strength to shatter the spirit vein, collecting the spirit stones scattered on the ground. Just like that, he went to several places and mined mountains of spirit stones. Then, he absorbed them crazily in a dark cave. Very soon, his cultivation base stepped into the late-stage, nascent soul stage. Something's wrong. Oh no, the spirit vein here has been destroyed. Someone has snuck in. Suddenly, a devil cultivator's cry came from afar. Almost at that moment, the guarding devil army finally noticed the abnormality in the mine. Subsequently, a group of devil soldiers appeared in the mine to search. Yichin followed behind the devil soldier quietly. His eyes flashed as he pondered. The primordial Taoist's identity earlier could not enter and exit the spirit vein at will. It should be the demon king Medusa who restricted him. Why don't I transform into a devil soldier now? It'll be more convenient. Yichin stared closely. The devil soldiers in groups of two split up to search. A huge hand suddenly reached out from the darkness and grabbed the devil soldier's neck. There was no true origin energy. The spiritual energy in the withered meridians made his physical body stronger. Kacha! The devil soldier died silently. Yichin searched through his memories quickly and performed the True Spirit 9 transformation. The other devil soldier's heart tightened. He gripped his weapon tightly and walked toward Yichin slowly. Royce, did you find anything? Royce. Into this chapter? Chapter 1746. No. Royce, who was disguised as a demon soldier, shook his head. Then, let's get out of here. The demon soldier, called Nick, looked at the pitch-black mine with some fear. As Yichin walked out of the dark mine, his eyes opened wide. Blood-red sunlight shone on the demons. Blood energy surged and demonic energy filled the air. At that moment, the demon soldier guarding the door looked at the two people who came out last and asked, "Anything unusual?" Yichin immediately reported, "Master Nati, we didn't find any thieves." Subsequently, he said carefully, "Could he have gone to another mine?" Nati glared at him and waved. "Let's go patrol the other mines." The group soon arrived at the next mine and split up to search again. Yichin entered another mine. This time, he was much more cautious. He knew that he could not mine the spirit stones by force like last time, or he would attract the demon soldier's attention. Suddenly, Yichin noticed a pile of spirit stones before him. He was overjoyed. His eyes flashed, and he suddenly shouted at the pitch-black mine, "Who's there?" Nick, who was beside him, was shocked. He pulled out his weapon and asked softly, "Royce, which way?" Yichin pointed in a direction and said, "That way. Let's go together." The two of them walked into the depths of the mine carefully. It was getting darker. A strong gust of wind blew, and the torch in Yichin's hand was extinguished. In the darkness, Yichin turned his head and slashed at Nick. Puffed. The blade pierced his body, and sticky blood splattered everywhere. Nick's eyes widened, as if he had seen something unbelievable. Yichin put the body away and burned the traces with spiritual fire. He rushed to the pile of spirit stones and put them all into his bag. Yichin found a deserted place and absorbed the spirit stones crazily again. Soon, his cultivation base entered beginner god transformation stage. Yichin nodded in satisfaction and thought to himself about how to explain that he was the only one left. Suddenly, messy footsteps came from the mine. He listened carefully and released his divine consciousness. He suddenly realized that he was surrounded. Yichin frowned and recalled which part of the plan was flawed. He took out Nick's body and realized that the token hanging on his waist was blinking crazily. The blood-red light was bright like a torch in the night. So this was the flaw. He sighed softly in his heart as killing intent flashed in his eyes. "Since I've been discovered, I'll kill my way out." Boom! At that moment, his entire body erupted with true essence, and like a wild horse, he rushed out of the mine. A demon soldier sensed the outburst of spiritual energy and shouted, "He's here!" Before he was done speaking, Yichin charged from the side. A gleam flashed, and the corpse exploded. Along the way, Yichin was like the Grim Reaper with the long saber in his hand. He killed every single person that he came across. The bloody aura on his body was monstrous, and there seemed to be the silhouette of a butcher brewing behind him. General T finally arrived and blocked Yichin's way. He glared at Yichin furiously. As a great perfection god transformation stage commander, he was fooled by this despicable little bug. Kill! Yichin headed straight for Nadi. He wanted to end the battle quickly and escape from the colony as soon as possible, burning heaven palm. Suddenly, the world turned into a huge furnace. It was as if the flames of the heavens were rising from the ground, refining everything in the world. The General T was instantly burned by the flames that covered the sky and the earth. Demon sacrifice. The General T gritted his teeth. His muscles swelled, and his body became huge like a giant. He wore a glove magic treasure and threw a punch. The huge fist condensed from dense demonic energy collided violently with the flames of the heavens. Bang! The void shook, and countless rocks fell like rolling thunder. Die! Yi Chun erupted again. He used his finger as a saber, and a fiery red saber gleam slashed out diagonally. It crossed the sky and the earth. The flames of the heavens suddenly expanded, and not a single blade of grass grew within a radius of 50 kilometers. Boom! The raging flames burned the void, and the black giant was killed with a single slash. Countless miserable cries came from all directions. Not only did the flames burn the body, but they also burned the soul. It was as if his entire body was about to be refined, and it was extremely painful. Rumble! The mine collapsed with a loud bang. Huge rocks flew everywhere, and smoke filled the air. Yi Chun took a step forward. The sea of fire behind him dyed half the sky red. Countless demons died tragically in it. It was like hell on earth. Yi Chun stood proudly in the air, as if he was possessed by a god. He looked down at all living beings and made them kneel. A hint of red finally appeared in the eyes of those numb human cultivators. Looking at that invincible figure, who was actually slaughtering the demons in the demon race's territory, their hearts were already in turmoil. They were incomparably shocked. Yi Chun looked around. Just when he was about to leave, the air suddenly froze. A terrifying pressure pressed heavily on Yi Chun like the sky was collapsing. Cunning human, you want to leave? At the same time, a cold voice exploded in the world. It's Queen Samantha. The demons who were scared out of their wits cried out in alarm. Yi Chun frowned. A beautiful figure floated in the air. She had a head of shiny black hair and a pair of beautiful blue eyes on a round little face. She was captivating, and when she turned around and smiled, she was so charming that she could steal one's soul. Yi Chun frowned. She looked at Yi Chun greedily as her clear and moving voice came. Human cultivator, as long as you give up struggling now and serve me, you can spare your life. Yi Chun smiled in disdain. Slut, what a powerful, bewitching technique. You want me to serve you? Dream on. Kill. Yi Chun unleashed his full strength. Golden light shone brightly in his clenched fist as he threw a punch. Quake hammer. A gigantic fist tore through the air. The powerful pressure seemed to shake the sky and shake heaven and earth. Stubborn fool. Samantha scoffed and waved her hand. Ice spikes condensed in the air. The cold air made one feel a chill that reached the depths of one's soul. It was as if one had fallen into an icy hell. Bang! The golden fist and the ice spikes were shattered. What? He's fighting the demon Queen Samantha at beginner stage god transformation stage? She's comparable to a mastery stage void refinement stage powerhouse. Everyone watched the intense collision in the air dumbfoundedly, shocked. Samantha chuckled softly. The greed in her eyes grew, and she liked Yi Chun even more. She said coquettishly, I really want to tie you to my bed. With a push of his hands, a bone-chilling gust of wind howled. Pillars of ice rose around Yi Chun, trapping him in place. Huh! Yi Chun shouted and formed a seal with both hands. An ocean seemed to have appeared behind him. Monstrous waves rose and crashed toward the ice pillars. Ocean overturned seal. Bang! The ice pillars shattered, and countless ice shards floated in the air like diamonds, shining brightly. Yi Chun kicked with both feet. Just when he charged out of the encirclement that was filled with cold air, his heart raced. Danger! A dark ball of light had appeared before Yi Chun out of nowhere and exploded. End of this chapter. Chapter 1747. Rumble. At the critical moment, a black battle armor covered Yi Chun's body. He retreated suddenly, his aura unstable. Medusa looked at Yi Chun in surprise and raised her brows. He's not dead. At the next moment, she clenched her fist. She clenched her fair hand in the air, and an endless chill swept toward Yi Chun. Yi Chun's expression changed. He stomped on the ground and used ground escape. It was as if his entire body was like sand that slid down and disappeared. Lowly human, where do you think you're going? Queen Medusa shouted, and a ferocious vertical eye slowly appeared between her brows. It covered the entire ground as if it could see through everything. Where is he? However, she still could not sense Yi-chan with her Dharma eye. Queen Medusa is invincible. Die, enemy. Haha, that brat is dead for sure. Celebrate, celebrate. Just when the demon soldiers were about to celebrate the queen killing the enemy, they suddenly realized that there was nothing there. It did not seem like the queen had successfully killed the enemy. Instead, it seemed like she had been tricked by the enemy. The great queen had been tricked by a severely injured brat? In an instant, the entire place fell silent. There was not a single sound. You bastards, chase after him. No matter what you do, you must find this person. Medusa's expression was extremely cold. She had been tricked by a human cultivator. If this matter were to spread to the other demons, she would definitely become a laughingstock. Yes, the demon soldiers were in high spirits. In reality, they had no idea where Yi-chan had gone. He had vanished into thin air. However, the queen was furious. If they did not chase after him, they would be courting death. They could only scatter like headless flies. At the same time, thousands of kilometers away, Yi-chan's figure appeared. His expression was slightly terrible. As expected, the demonic energy in this land of demons is extremely turbid. The bit of true origin energy that I've just recovered is flowing away at an extremely fast speed. This was a demon disaster area. There was almost no spiritual energy, but there was endless demonic energy surrounding him. This can't go on. When the spiritual energy is exhausted, my ability will be much weaker than before. I might even drop a level. Yi-chan frowned and flew far away quickly. He tried his best to avoid being searched. In a barren land, the demonic energy was even denser. There were countless demonic plants around, and one could faintly hear the roars of demonic beasts. Bang! Yi-chan pierced the demonic beast with a finger and appeared. Chi, chi, chi. At the same time, countless demonic chi were like maggots attached to the bone, constantly nibbling away at Yi-chan's true origin force. Do you really think I don't have a way? Yi-chan's eyes flashed. He gathered all of the true origin force in his body. Instantly, endless waves surged and rocks flew into the air. The meridians in his body began to circulate rapidly. Boom! A loud rumbling sound came from his body. He didn't care about the erosion of the devil chi at all. He relied on the super recovery ability of the ancient god body to resist it. Immortal demon rotation mysterious art. The next moment, Yi-chan let out a furious roar. The immortal demonic light radiated from Yi-chan's body at the same time. The black and white energies were like yin and yang tai chi at this moment. His body structure underwent a drastic change. Kacha, kacha, kacha. His bones and muscles were deforming in all sorts of ways. This kind of pain was incomprehensible to ordinary people. It was as if his entire body was being crushed and reassembled. In the demon disaster area, the only way to move normally was to adapt to the environment here. However, as a human cultivator, it was impossible to do so no matter what. However, Yi-chan was different. The immortal demon rotation mysterious art that he cultivated could cause a shocking change in his body structure. An immortal cultivator could go against the natural order and become a demon cultivator in an extremely short period of time. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The spiritual energy in his body began to change qualitatively. The intense waves of devil chi made Yi-chan seem like he had transformed into a peerless demon lord. Rumble! With a burst of devil chi, Yi-fan was reborn. His body was filled with dense devil chi. After becoming a demon cultivator, Yi-fan directly absorbed the devil chi. His body recovered quickly. Soon, everything was back to normal. Roar! Suddenly, a beast's roar startled Yi-chan. He quickly rushed out of the cave and saw a demon cultivator chasing a 6th-level Hui magical beast. The magical beast was rushing toward where Yi-chan was. Get out of my way. Don't you dare steal my prey. Die. The demon cultivator attacked fiercely and mercilessly. A cold light flashed in Yi Chen's eyes. As expected of a demon cultivator, he attacked indiscriminately. Advanced nascent soul, an ant. With a wave of his sleeve, Yi Chen directly dispelled the other's attack. You! The demon cultivator's expression changed drastically. Then, he turned around to escape. Yi Chen quickly grabbed the top of the demon cultivator's head and killed the magical beast with a palm. Soul Search. Hiss, hiss, hiss. As true origin energy flowed, the demon cultivator was controlled by Yi Chen on the spot. All sorts of information entered Yi Chen's mind. Dugahan, Holy Shadow Clan, Sister, Grand Hunting Contest, Die. Just as Yi Fan was searching his soul, Duguhan suddenly detonated his bloodline, wanting to devour Yi Fan. What a joke. Yi Chen scoffed. True origin energy erupted from his body. Instantly, a strong pressure surged into Duguhan's head, and he died on the spot. 9 transformations of the true spirit. In the blink of an eye, Yi Chen transformed into Duguhan. Thud, thud, thud. A series of footsteps were heard. Yi Chen quickly cleaned up the scene and pretended to be injured. It was a group of demons led by 2 young men and a young lady. Look, it's a 6th level Hui magical beast. That's great. What are you doing? That's my brother's. Just when the 2 young men were about to snatch it, the young lady behind them shouted, Brother, brother. Seeing that Yi Chen was injured, the young lady quickly went over to support him. How could this piece of trash kill such a powerful Hui magical beast? It's ours. Duga Ming and Duga Luo did not care about the young lady's shouts at all. They charged toward the Hui magical beast in a frenzy. This Hui magical beast belongs to my brother. My brother must win this grand hunting contest. It's related to whether he can awaken the demonic weave and stay in the Holy Shadow Clan. Get out of the way. Ah, you're thinking too much. Of course, it's first come, first served for such a high-end prize. That's right. Dugu you and your sister should just accept your fate. The 2 of them had already arrived beside the Hui magical beast and were ready to steal the fruit of victory. Looking at Dugu Yu's anxious expression, Yi Chen felt a little sorry for him. He stood up and faced the 2 demons. You 2 bastards, stop right there. The 2 of them were stunned. They did not expect Dugahan to be able to stand, even though he was clearly injured. You're courting death. Duga Ming and Duga Luo stared at each other coldly. They wanted to make a move. They could not afford to lose such a precious prize. Who knows who's courting death? The corner of Yi Chen's lips curled up. As long as they dared to make a move, he would kill them without mercy. Stop. Suddenly, a voice stopped the 3 of them. Chapter 1748. You're all from the Holy Shadow Tribe. What are you doing? The newcomer was an old man with a green bamboo cane in his hand. He gave off a gloomy feeling. Elder Yu, Dugahan, is too arrogant. He stole our spoils of war, and now he wants to attack us. Duga Ming was the first to complain. Elder Yu glanced sideways at the nightmare beast, then at Yi Chen and the rest. Realization dawned on him instantly. Then he frowned. The Chi beast was a 6th-stage magical beast. Its strength was comparable to a perfected nascent soul cultivator. Logically speaking, no one here could kill it easily. However, it was lying there quietly. It was obviously dead. He took a closer look. It turned out that the Chi beast had died in a clean way. It was killed with a single blow. This method was terrifying. I can't listen to your side of the story. Duguyu, come here and explain. Elder Yu looked at Duguyu. Yes, Elder Yu. Duguyu walked over and looked at Duga Luo and Duga Ming coldly. His anger was obvious. Elder Yu, this is what happened. Duguyu told him what they saw when they came over. Elder Yu understood that the Chi beast was not killed by Duga Ming and Duga Luo. It could only be Duga Han. Although he didn't believe that Duga Han had such strength, he still believed in Duga Yu's words more than Duga Luo and Duga Ming. You 2 bastards, how dare you take Dugu Han's hunting results for yourself? What a disgrace. Facing Elder Du's reprimand, Duga Ming and Guda Luo still wanted to argue. However, they held it in. Elder Yu was an important figure in the tribe. It was not good to talk back to him. However, they hated Yi Chun even more now. Dugahan, how's your injury? Elder Yu took a deep look at Yi Chun. He took a step forward and grabbed Yi Chun's hand tightly, trying to check his injury. If the Chi Beast was really killed by Dugahan, then he was the top genius of the tribe. As an elder of the tribe, he should express his condolences. After all, the Holy Shadow tribe wasn't big, and the cultivation of the people in the tribe was limited. If there was a person with great potential, it would be good news. At the very least, it could boost the morale of the people in the tribe and make them fight for the future of the Holy Shadow tribe. Elder Yu, I'm fine. How could Yi Chun not know the powerhouse's motive? He said with a smile and generously allowed him to investigate. Brother, you're still saying you're fine? Look at how heavily injured you are. This is a rank 6 home magical beast. How can you say you're fine after killing such a magical beast? Dugayu came over and continued to support Yi Chun. Nethery, I'm really fine. Yi Chun knew that he had to go all the way. Since he had acted for Dugahan, he had to go all the way. Brother, don't talk back. Let me bandage it for you. Dugayu took out some cotton wool that was specially made for bandaging wounds and strung it on Yi Fan's chest, arms, and other parts of his body. The cotton will contain medicinal herbs and could help Yi Chun recover quickly. All right, since Dugahan's hunt was successful, let's go back and report this news. Elder Yu no longer doubted. Yes, everyone agreed and brought the nightmare beast towards the Holy Shadow tribe's tribe. On the way back, Dugayu had been taking care of Yi Chun attentively. Not only did she take care of his wounds, but she also personally used a secret technique to treat Yi Fan. I didn't expect this little girl to take so much care of her big brother. It seems like they're really close. Yi Chun was touched. After all, it was rare to see a sibling relationship like this in the demon tribe. However, Dugaming and Dugaluo were different. They kept looking at Yi Chun with the corner of their eyes, obviously waiting for an opportunity to take revenge. It seems like these two pieces of trash haven't changed. Killing you two is like squashing an ant. Yi Chun made up his mind. If he did not intimidate these pieces of trash, they would not let it go. After walking for an hour, some scattered houses finally appeared in front of them. At a glance, Yi Chun saw that the entire tribe looked very bleak. It seemed like there were very few resources here. This might be one of the reasons why Dugaming and Dugaluo wanted to snatch the home magical beast so much. Dugahan, you and your sister should go back and rest. I'll spread the news of you killing the home magical beast to everyone. Thank you, Elder. Yi Chun cupped his hands and bowed, then followed Dugayu home. Their residence was at the edge of the tribe. When Yi Chun entered the house, he could not help but be stunned. How was this a house? There was nothing inside, and it was very shabby. It was really a house with only 4 walls. Yi Chun shook his head and sat on the seat next to him. Brother, take a seat and rest first. Wait for me to find some good medicinal herbs, Dugayu said with a smile. All right. Yi Chun was not used to being taken care of by Dugayu. After all, he was not the real Dugahan. At the same time, in the Holy Shadow tribe, the news of Yi Chun killing the 6th level home magical beast had spread. You guys heard from Elder Yu, right? Dugahan, that kid killed the 6th level home magical beast and won the grand hunting contest. That's unbelievable. I couldn't believe it when I heard it too. That kid's strength is only average. How'd he do it? No matter how he did it, he's now the hero of our Holy Shadow tribe. The crowd discussed. Most of them saw Dugahan in a new light and praised him. D*MNB* starred. This kid stole our limelight. We must teach him a lesson. That's right. I don't believe he's that powerful. All right. If that's the case, I'll challenge the elder to a duel. I want to kill this piece of trash with my own hands. Dugaming walked directly to the elder's residence and voiced his opinion. Since you have such an idea, we won't stop you. We can also see if Dugahan is the real deal. Elder Yu directly agreed to Dugaming's suggestion on behalf of the higher-ups. Thud, thud, thud. Yi Chun was still treating his injuries when hurried footsteps came from outside the door. Dugahan, someone wants to challenge you. The elder has agreed. Come with me quickly. Yi Chun looked at the person and sneered in his heart. He did not have to guess to know that this must be Dugaming and Dugaluo's doing. Let's go. He agreed immediately and followed the person out. On the Holy Shadow Tribe's battle platform, Dugaming looked at Yi Chun with a smirk. Trash. Let's see who's better in the battle platform if you dare. I don't believe that you killed the home magical beast. Yi Chun shook his head slightly. Haha, of course. Trash won't believe it, because you don't have the ability or the imagination. You're asking for death. Dugaming did not wait for the elder to start and attacked immediately. Kill. With a quick step, Dugahan used the ape demonic fist that he was best at and went straight for Yi Chun's vitals. Oomph, you dare to show off with that bit of strength. Yi Chun was an immortal cultivator. Since his opponent attacked first, he would give him a surprise. I'll give you a taste of your own medicine. The moment Dugaming attacked, Yi Fan understood the essence of his technique. He tilted his body slightly and dodged the fatal attack. At the same time, he punched out. The technique was exactly the same as Dugaming's, but the power was doubled. What? Dugaming felt an invisible, murderous aura rapidly approaching him. It was as if the entire space was spinning. Even his soul was surrounded by the cold, murderous aura, as if he had fallen into hell. With a scream, Dugaming fell to the ground and could not get up. Chapter 1749. At that moment, the surroundings fell into dead silence. Countless young members of the Holy Shadow Tribe stared at the scene with their eyes wide open. Dugaming was defeated by his own technique. Since when did that useless Dugohan become so powerful? Everyone was shocked. Dugaming was considered a young genius in the Holy Shadow Tribe, but he was up against Dugahan, who was previously looked down upon. However, he was defeated in the first round. It was unbelievable. Brother, well done, brother. Dugayu was terrified earlier. She was afraid that Dugahan was no match for Dugaming, so she ran over in a hurry. She even brought medicine with her to save him. However, the scene before her stunned her. She did not expect her brother to become so powerful. ****. Dugaming slumped onto the ground. Countless emotions flashed through his eyes. There was shock and humiliation. Even he did not expect a useless Dugahan to be able to defeat him. Dugahan, you're asking for it. I'll kill you. Suddenly, Dugaming leaped from the ground with a furious roar. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he charged at Yi Chun. Dugaming, what are you doing? Seeing this scene, Elder Yu roared in anger. However, Dugaming did not seem to hear him. The intense humiliation he felt caused him to be on the verge of going mad. He was defeated by Yi Chun in front of so many people. How was he going to face the younger generation of the Holy Shadow Tribe in the future? Oh no, this brat didn't follow the rules. Not only did he sneak attack, but he also used the power of the demonic pattern. Someone exclaimed, "That's a tier 5 demonic pattern. Once it's activated, its power is unimaginable. Dugahan is in danger this time. If Dugahan dies, it'll be such a waste." Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect Dugaming to be so ruthless towards Dugahan, to the point of killing him. Dugahan, so what if you're powerful? Die in my hands. A cunning smile appeared on Dugaming's face. A cloud of black energy formed in his hand, revealing huge black fangs. It seemed like he was going to bite everything in front of him and kill his opponent. Rumble. The air went wild. The space shook, and the fangs attacked Yi Chun. A gleam flashed through Yi Chun's eyes. Of course, such a little trick could not fool him. However, he was disguised as Dugahan after all. In the face of such a fierce sneak attack, according to Dugahan's character, he had to fall. Otherwise, the many pairs of eyes below the stage would definitely see through him. Boom! As the giant punch landed on Yi Chun's body, he was sent flying 3 meters away directly. Brother, you bastard, you actually sneak attacked. Dugayu was so scared that she almost fainted on the spot. She subconsciously wanted to enter the arena, but she was held back by someone. Dugaming wanted to fight back, but he was in the wrong this time. Moreover, there were so many people watching him, so he could not do anything. At least, he had severely injured Yi Chun. To him, that was already very satisfying. Your brother is dead meat. Scram! Dugayu shouted angrily and went to Yi Chun quickly. Pooh! At this moment, Yi Chun spat out a mouthful of blood. This had been brewing for a long time. It was so realistic. Brother. Dugayu's eyes were filled with tears. It was a miracle that he could still sit up after being sneak attacked by a tier 5 demonic weave. Dugaming, what's wrong with you? Elder Yu slapped Dugaming and said with a gloomy expression, Elder Yu, this is a battle technique to survive in the demon tribe. This is nothing. You can only blame the useless Dugahan for being weak. What did you say? You're in the right to sneak attack with a demonic weave? Elder Yu's eyes were cold. Apologize to Dugahan immediately. Otherwise, you'll be punished according to the tribe rules. What? Dugaming was shocked. He was a genius in the tribe, but he was completely suppressed by Yi Chun now. The elder had asked him to apologize and even threatened to use the tribe rules. It was obvious that he thought highly of Yi Chun. Hurry up, stop talking nonsense. Yes, in the Holy Shadow tribe, the elders were the higher-ups. Nobody dared to go against their orders. Dugaming was furious, but he had no choice. He slowly walked to Yi Chun. Dugahan, I'm sorry. He pretended to apologize, but there was a smirk at the corner of his lips. What sincerity is there in the apology of a cunning man? Scram, I'm not in the mood to watch you act. Yi Chun got up, pretending to be in pain. He then turned around to leave. What did you say? Dugaming was humiliated again. His face was green with anger. He was countered by Yi Chun in every way, even after the sneak attack. He did not gain any advantage at all. However, he had no idea that Yi Chun's injury was just an act. Otherwise, he would have died from anger. Cut the crap and come back. Elder Yu scolded again. Dugaming could only lower his head. He had lost big this time. After the battle, Yi Chun became famous in the tribe. He had learned a lot of information from many young men. In the Holy Shadow tribe, one had to awaken the demonic weave when one reached adulthood at the age of 20. Otherwise, they would be abandoned. There were many types of demonic weave, such as the decay weave, the petrification weave, and so on. They were all innate abilities. The demonic weave was divided into 9 grades. Grade 1 was the lowest, while Grade 9 was the highest. Meanwhile, Dugahan would reach adulthood 3 days later. It seems like I have to awaken the demonic weave. Otherwise, I might be chased away. I won't have time to recover my cultivation base and look for Yi Wu Shuang and the rest. After making up his mind, Yi Chun used Dugahan's various memories to awaken the advanced demonic weave easily. However, he purposely took his time to awaken it. To Yi Chun, awakening the Tier 6 devouring demonic weave was child's play. However, he was considered a genius in the Holy Shadow tribe. After that, Yi Chun and Dugayu's situation gradually improved. The Holy Shadow tribe's upper echelons valued him very much and even gave him many resources. Clack, clack, clack. One day, Yi Chun saw a powerhouse from the tribe running into the upper echelon's residence with a portrait. Yi Chun's heart skipped a beat as he thought of something. He quickly followed and saw that it was him in the portrait. Elder, this is an investigation letter from the Holy Camel tribe. They said they want to search for a human cultivator. This person, there's such a thing. The upper echelons of the Holy Shadow tribe discussed and decided to help with the search. After all, the Holy Camel Queen's ability was extraordinary. They dared not underestimate her. Dugahan, show the portrait to everyone immediately. Help with the search. All right. Yi Chun smiled lightly. He took the portrait and left quickly. Looking at himself in the portrait, Yi Chun shook his head lightly. He thought that although the portrait was exquisite, it was not handsome enough. He would definitely be stunning if he were to draw it. Demon Queen Medusa, you're really haunting me. I can't believe you found your way here. Unfortunately, no matter how smart you guys are, you'll never think that I can switch between immortal and demonic and transform into Dugahan. A faint sneer appeared at the corner of Yi Chun's lips. End of chapter. Chapter 1750. Although Yi Chun's portrait had spread among the Holy Shadow tribe, no one paid much attention to it. After all, this human cultivator had only appeared in the Holy Shadow tribe. It had nothing to do with them. Moreover, even if someone saw Yi Chun in front of him, they would think it was Dugahan. No one knew that he was Yi Chun himself. Brother, it's time to change the dressing. Yi-chun sat cross-legged on the bed, concentrating on cultivating. At that moment, a voice came. It was Dugu. She did not know what technique Yi-chun was cultivating. She just thought that he was meditating normally. In reality, Yi-fan cultivated high-level constitution and the ancient god five elements power. All right. In order not to expose himself, Yi-chan stopped his cultivation and watched Dugu change the dressing on him. These wounds were nothing to Yi-chan. His ancient god body's resistance was extraordinary. However, in order to maintain the illusion that he was Dugu, Yi-fan did not use the ancient god power to forcefully heal himself. Little sister, I was severely injured by the nightmare beast. I don't seem to remember the past. Why don't you tell me about the heavenly Yuan territory? Yi-chan looked at the innocent girl and tried to test her. Dugu didn't think too much about it and immediately said, the heavenly Yuan region is only a small plane in the spiritual realm. However, there are still many demon tribes in the heavenly Yuan region. Do you remember now? The Holy Shadow tribe is only a small tribe. Do you remember who the other demon tribes are? Ah, let me think. I think there's the Holy Camel tribe. Yi-chun pretended to think. Dugu smiled and continued. In the heavenly Yuan territory, there are many demon tribes. There's the Holy Shadow tribe, the Holy Camel tribe, and the Holy Feather tribe. Dugu was very detailed and gave Yi-fan a lot of information. From this information, Yi-fan chose the most important one. Even in a small realm like the heavenly Yuan territory, there were still many demon tribes gathered. There were even demon masters guarding it. This was not to be underestimated. If that was the case, Yi-chan thought that he could not leave this place casually. If he encountered a real demon master, an old monster or demon king who had undergone the tribulations, the consequences would be unimaginable with his current cultivation level. From Dugu's description, Yi-chan also learned that a small tribe like the Holy Shadow tribe also had a mine, and the slaves who worked in the mine were humans. There was no lack of human cultivators among them. Under the oppression of the Holy Shadow tribe, they constantly relied on their own strength to excavate the ore veins and produce spirit stones for the demons to cultivate. It was clear that the grudge between the human race and the demon race was very difficult to completely resolve. As night fell, the entire Holy Shadow tribe was shaken. Look, what's that? Someone broke through to grade 1 demonic general. It is Dugu Ming. Looks like after Dugu defeated Dugu Ming the last time, he became courageous and made a breakthrough today. Yeah, to be able to step into such a profound realm at such a young age, Dugu Ming is indeed a genius. This time, Dugu Ming is even stronger than Dugu. I wonder what kind of expression Dugu will have when he finds out. Suddenly, all sorts of noises came from outside. Yi-chan's sharp hearing allowed him to hear everything clearly. Brother, you are now the genius of our tribe. You must cultivate well and don't worry about anything else. Dugu was afraid that he would be hurt, so she could not help but comfort him. All right, I won't disappoint you. Yi-chan did not know whether to laugh or cry as he shook his head. How could he take a mere Dugu Ming seriously? Dugu nodded firmly. She trusted her brother very much. At this moment, Dugu Ming barged in. Ha ha, Dugu, you piece of trash. Do you see that? I'm a grade 1 demonic general now. I have no time for an idiot. Scram. What did you say? Piece of trash. I'm a grade 1 demonic general. Dugu Ming wanted to teach Yi-fan a lesson, but was stopped by Dugu. Don't cause trouble. This is my home. My brother is going to break through to grade 1 demonic general soon. He's even stronger than you. What did you say? He's going to break through soon? Ha ha, what a joke. Go away. You're not welcome here. Dugu pushed Dugu Ming out to give Yi-chan some space to cultivate. Seeing that she had gone far away, Yi-chan began to circulate his true power. He wanted to raise his demon tribe cultivation base as soon as possible so that his status in the Holy Shadow tribe would continue to rise. Only then would he be able to gain more trust and resources. This was crucial for him to recover his cultivation base and increase his cultivation base. Dugu Ming, you're a grade 1 demonic general, right? Yi-chan decided to break through his cultivation base and give Dugu Ming a surprise. Immortal demon transformations, demonic chi fusion. He used the demonic chi to clear his meridians. Then, with the help of the ancient god body's strong resistance, he forcefully began to activate the demonic technique. Since his foundation was too strong and he had completely transformed into a demon tribe cultivation base, it was too easy for Yichun to break through. In a small tribe like this, one did not need a high cultivation base to get everything they wanted. A grade 1 demonic general, that's it. The demonic chi in Yi Chen's body surged. In his meridians, dark blood surged rapidly, and he was surrounded by the same shocking demonic chi at this moment. He was a true demon cultivator. In fact, he had even purer demonic chi than the geniuses of the demon tribe. After continuous refinement of the ancient god body, Yi Fan's demonic chi became more complete. Rumble. In his meridians, the demonic chi surged rapidly like a giant dragon crashing into a mountain. If the higher-ups of the Holy Shadow tribe knew about this terrifying aura, they would be overjoyed. This was an absolute genius of the demon tribe. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. As the dark lightning rushed out of his meridians and surrounded his body, Yi Fan merged with the devouring Mageweth and became a grade 1 demonic general. Just when everyone was cheering for Dugaming to become a grade 1 demonic general, Yichun walked out. Look, that's Dugahan. Wait, why is his energy so powerful? There's a grade 1 demonic general. His energy is even more powerful than Dugaming's. Hearing the discussion, Dugaming ran out too. When he saw Yichun, he revealed an expression of disbelief. A grade 1 demonic general? What's so great about him? What a joke. Yichun left with his hands behind his back as he spoke, leaving Dugaming standing there in a daze. That night, Yichun walked out of his room quietly. He removed his disguise. That was the only way he could showcase his ability. He broke into the mining area and found a mine that he had been paying attention to for a long time. I'll rely on you to help me ascend today. Yichun released his devouring power and absorbed the mine's energy crazily. Phew! As he exhaled, the true energy in Yichun's body flowed rapidly like a ghost. Advanced stage God transformation. After some time, he successfully stepped into advanced stage God transformation. If this continues, I'll be able to return to my peak in less than a month. Yichun's eyes gleamed slightly. Suddenly, a loud voice came from outside. Who's there? End of this chapter. Chapter 17:51. Yichun's eyes flashed when he heard the sudden voice. He then moved and charged into the air. It's him, the person wanted by the Holy Tuaw tribe. Frightened by Yichun's powerful aura, the demon could not speak clearly. However, he recognized Yichun at a glance. He was the wanted criminal. As a result, the situation here completely alarmed the people of the Holy Shadow tribe. Within the mine, a large number of demon warriors rushed over. Human ant, where do you think you're going? You're wanted by the Holy Tuaw tribe, yet you dare to steal from our mine. You deserve to die. Die, lowly human cultivator. Several powerful warriors from the Holy Shadow tribe rushed over and surrounded Yichun. Let's see where you can run to. This is my territory. A demon who looked like a captain walked over and shouted while pointing at Yichun. Seeing that there were more and more demon warriors around him, Yichun knew very well that he had to end the battle quickly. A bunch of trash from the demon tribe dares to be arrogant in front of me. Yichun's eyes turned cold, revealing a cold, murderous gleam. The entire space instantly became extremely cold. It could even freeze a person's soul and make them fall into an illusion. Such a cold aura seemed to have the effect of a barrier. It was too terrifying. The few demon warriors who surrounded Yichun earlier were the closest. They could clearly feel this cold, murderous aura. Their legs went limp, and they could barely move. What are you doing? Attack! The captain roared. I want to attack too. The few demon warriors' legs trembled, not daring to move at all. Seeing this, Yichun smirked slightly and said, Since you don't dare to move, don't blame me. With a leap, he left an afterimage behind. His sword slashed through the air and blood splattered. The demon warriors froze and fell to the ground. What? Yichun's movements were too fast. Even the captain did not see what was going on. He only saw his demon warriors fall to the ground one after another. There was no trace of them at all. When he wanted to attack, Yichen was already in front of him. How is it? It was just two simple words. Then, the sword chi slashed, creating layers of illusions. Boom! The powerful sword chi swept through the demon squad, completely annihilated. Dong, dong, dong. The sound of hurried footsteps rang out. Yichun immediately sensed that the Holy Shadow Tribe's combatants had arrived. This was not a place to linger. So. With a few flashes, Yichun left the Irving. It didn't take him long to reach Dugahan's house. He sat cross-legged on the bed and meditated. His aura remained stable at the early stage of soul formation, as if nothing had happened. What? Ran away? LD was furious. A mere soul formation stage human cultivator had actually escaped from under the noses of so many experts. He had even killed a small team guarding the mine. What face did the Holy Shadow Tribe have? Everyone was in low spirits. After all, this matter was too disgraceful. Gather everyone. Yes, Elder. Elder Yu gave the order, and all the members of the Holy Shadow Tribe gathered on the square. He walked on the high platform, facing the crowd. Understood. That human cultivator is the person wanted by the Holy Camel Tribe. He has already arrived at our Holy Shadow Tribe, and even snuck into our mine. This person is extremely cunning and has many tricks up his sleeve. In order to capture him, we need everyone to surround and hunt him down. Those who can provide information will be heavily rewarded. Yes, everyone agreed. Deep down, they all wanted to be rewarded. Capturing such a wanted criminal would definitely be a great reward. It would definitely be of great help to their cultivation, especially in an era where resources were so scarce. Brother, this human cultivator seems to be very powerful. We must be careful when we go out, Duga Yu said to Yichun. Of course, we must all be careful. If we see him, we must report to the elders immediately. This time, he won't be able to escape even if he has wings, Yichun said. Yes, Duga Yu nodded slightly. Suddenly, a figure flashed past and stood in front of the siblings. Ha! You won't be able to escape even if you have wings. This time, you won't be able to escape even if you have wings. Everyone turned to look and realized that it was Duga Ming. He was looking at Yi Chan coldly, as if he was about to reveal some earth-shattering secret. Duga Ming, what do you want? Duga Yu asked coldly. What do I want? He turned to look at the elders and continued. Elder Yu, I saw Duga Han go out alone last night. Then, he sneaked toward the direction of the mineral vein. He's the wanted criminal, the spy. As soon as this was said, the crowd was in an uproar. Duga Han had just obtained the title of the Holy Shadow Tribe's genius. Now, Duga Ming had accused him of being a spy and a wanted criminal. Many of the Holy Shadow Tribe's combatants turned to look at Yi Chun. They had not been able to capture that person, so they were filled with anger. Everyone's eyes were filled with suspicion. This time, the situation was not good. Duga Ming, you're slandering me. My brother was with me last night. He was working hard on his cultivation, preparing to contribute to the Holy Shadow Tribe. How dare you frame him? Despicable. You. Seeing Duga Yu's aggressive attitude, Duga Ming was momentarily speechless. At that moment, Yichen walked over and looked at Duga Ming. He said with a faint smile, Duga Ming, I know you're jealous that I'm more handsome than you and that my talent is much higher than yours. However, I defeated you in front of everyone and even ambushed me. Therefore, I can understand why you want to slander me like this. Yu. Duga Ming was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He clearly saw that Yi Chun had gone out at night. Now, he was at a disadvantage, and all the elders were beginning to suspect him. Duga Ming, although your talent is extraordinary, if you use your talent to slander Duga Han in order to obtain more resources, the elders will never agree to it. Elder Yu yelled angrily. There was a majestic aura in his eyes. Duga Ming did not dare to reply and could only lower his head. He hated Yi Chun so much that he wanted to kill Yi Chun with his own hands. However, he could not do it. He was on the verge of breaking down. All right, disperse. Be careful when you go out. Report to the elders immediately if you see the human cultivator. Yes, Now that the matter had come to an end, the crowd dispersed. Only Dugaming stood where he was, secretly cursing Yi Chen's back. In the following days, Yi Chen cultivated in peace. Of course, he was also looking for opportunities to enter the ore vein to absorb more spiritual energy. During this period, he had made several attempts. Unfortunately, after the previous incident, there were many Holy Shadow Tribe combatants guarding the ore vein. It was difficult for him to succeed. Therefore, he could only cultivate on his own in Dugahan's house. The speed was very slow. His cultivation base stopped at the advanced god transformation stage. On the surface, he was a rank 1 demon general, which was equivalent to beginner god transformation stage. Chapter 1752. The annual pet selection convention is here again. That's great. Let's head over quickly. This time, I want to choose a pretty girl. On the third day, Yi Chen was cultivating in the house when he suddenly heard a commotion outside. He got up and saw Dugayu coming in. He could not help but ask, "What's going on outside?" Brother, you're really muddle-headed. Today is our clan's pet selection convention." Pet selection convention? Yi Chen was stunned. It's a pet selection convention where the powerhouses of the demon clan choose human women. Dugayu urged Yi Chen as he spoke, "You're a genius in the clan now, so you're qualified. Hurry up and come with me." "All right." Yi Chen agreed readily on the surface, but his heart was cold. They actually chose human women as goods. This demon clan was really despicable. The pet selection convention was held on a high platform in the clan. At this time, it was already overcrowded. Many young demon clan people were squeezing forward, wanting to choose a beautiful human woman to carry on the family line. Yi Chen looked at the high platform and found many human women tied up like livestock. There were mortals among them and female cultivators whose cultivation base had been crippled. Their only function now was to reproduce. It was a very cruel thing. These human women were cultivators before they were kidnapped here. They had their own dignity and pride. However, once they were kidnapped by the demon clan, what awaited them was endless humiliation and trampling. It was a fate worse than death. The women of the demon clan can't bear children, so they can only carry on the family line by kidnapping human women. What a joke. Yi Chen thought about whether he could think of a way to save these women. However, it was very difficult. Although he was a genius of the demon clan, he was not a leader after all. He could not make the other demons completely listen to his arrangements. Such a situation was very common. In order to reproduce, these demon clan madly enslaved other planets and constantly kidnapped women into the realm of demons. Seeing this scene, Yi Chen was incomparably furious. He swore that he would kill all these demon clan people with his own hands. "Out of the way! Out of the way!" Suddenly, a voice was heard. Yi Chen's expression changed because he was very familiar with the owner of the voice. It was Dugaming. Dugaming walked to the front of the crowd. Many young demon clan people did not dare to provoke him and made way for him. "Young Master Dugaming, who do you like?" The demon on the high platform asked Dugaming below. That's her." Dugaming pointed at a human girl. She was tall and slender, and her body was curvaceous. Although her clothes were dirty, it could not hide her beautiful face. She must have been a great beauty before she was kidnapped. The master of the demon race was lustful by nature, and Dugaming was no exception. Naturally, he was interested in beautiful human women. "No problem. I'll give it to you now." Before Zhang Xian could finish his words, Elder Yu walked over. "Everyone, in this demon race's pet selection convention, our group of elders has decided to give a reward to the genius with the fastest progress in the Holy Shadow clan." He pointed at the girl that Dugaming had chosen. "Ha ha ha. Looks like I will definitely win this time." Dugaming was very confident. After all, he had just become a first-grade demon general and was in his prime. However, within a few seconds of being happy, Elder Yu pointed at Yi Chen. "Dugahan, I shall bestow the most beautiful human girl to you. You must give birth to the most talented offspring for our Saint Shadow tribe, and let our tribe rise." Yes. Seeing such a situation, Yi Chen naturally agreed to it in order to save the girl. He looked at Dugahan, whose expression was already twisted, and smirked. You be asterisk starred. Dugahan wanted to curse out loud, but when he saw Elder Yu on the stage, he immediately became listless. He knew that scolding Yi-chan in front of so many people would be a provocation to the Elders' Council. The consequences would be dire. Damn you, Dugahan. You stole my thing again. You're really something. I'll definitely teach you a lesson. Dugaming could not stop cursing Yi-chan in his heart. However, it was useless. The beautiful girl was still taken away by Yi-chan, which made him extremely angry. Dugahan, since you're the most outstanding talent in the Holy Shadow Tribe in recent years, the group of elders has decided to bestow you a palace. This is the key to the palace. Take it. Thank you, Elder Yu. Thank you, Elders' Council. Yi-chan took the key with both hands and left with the girl and Duga Yu. Everyone was very envious. They looked at Yi-chan's back for a long time without turning back. Duga Yu was very happy when she arrived at the palace. Before this, she and Dugahan had always lived in the most remote and messy place. Now, they could live in such a nice palace. It was like a gift from God. How could she not be happy? Night fell. Duga Yu looked at Yi-chan with her little face flushed. Brother, I'll make room for you. She ran away after saying that. Huh? Yi-chan was speechless. This little girl must have misunderstood something. He walked into the palace and saw the girl looking at him coldly. Whoosh! Yi-chan was extremely fast. He removed the restriction on the girl and said, Where are you from? Go to hell. The girl suddenly attacked, wanting to attack Yi-chan. Yi-chan stopped her and said coldly, I saved you because I can't bear to see you being defiled. If you don't know what's good for you, don't blame me for not showing mercy. Be ***, stop pretending. The girl looked at Yi-chan with incomparable hatred. You be ***, I won't let you go even if I become a ghost. The girl was about to bite her tongue to commit suicide after saying that. Don't. Yi-chan waved his sleeve and stopped her instantly. Yi-chan sighed softly. I pity you. I don't want you to be defiled. Don't worry, I won't touch you. Cut out. You be ***. My husband is the Patriarch of Skyfall. He'll never let you go. The Patriarch of Skyfall? Yi-chan's heart skipped a beat. He deliberately provoked her. Is your husband, the Patriarch of Skyfall, as powerful as the Lord Night Shadow Demon Lord of the Holy Shadow Tribe? The girl was disdainful. Even the 8 great demon lords of the Devil Tribe have to retreat when they see my husband, let alone a mere void refinement demon lord. Yi-chan was shocked. He talked to the girl for a long time again. It turned out that the girl was called Fairy Hong Ling. She came from the spirit level and was the Patriarch of Skyfall's woman. She was severely injured when she fought with someone. She was captured by the Devil Tribe. Her cultivation base was destroyed, and she was sent to the Holy Shadow Tribe. So it's a fairy from the spirit level. What a pity. The spirit level is the only human gathering place above heavenly origin level apart from the demon disaster area. How do you know so much? Of course I know. I've told you that I'm not your enemy. Be ***. Don't try to lie to me. Although I can't fight back, my soul will never accept you. My husband, the Patriarch of Skyfall, is a supreme powerhouse on great perfection integration. He's only half a step away from ascension. You're dead. End of this chapter. Chapter 1753. Seeing how staunch the woman was, if he did not reveal his true appearance, he would not be able to convince her no matter what. Sigh. Yi-chan shook his head lightly. His body emitted green light like an immortal descending to the world, incomparably holy. As the immortal demon rotation mysterious technique was activated, Yi-chan's appearance changed drastically. He had transformed from a hateful Devil Clan member into a human cultivator with an ethereal air. This is my true appearance, Yi-chan said. This? Fairy Hong Ling was shocked. The demon earlier was actually a human cultivator, and such a refined and beautiful man at that. It was unbelievable. You should be able to determine my identity through the aura on my body. My name is Yi-chan, a cultivator who ascended from the lower realm. Due to unknown reasons, I ascended to this demon-stricken area. In order to protect myself, I could only disguise myself and use a secret technique to hide my appearance, pretending to be a demon. Yi-chan's words were very sincere, shocking Fairy Hong Ling. Her hostility toward him gradually dissipated. After all, It was very lucky to see a human who was not controlled in this demon-stricken area. However, Fairy Hong Ling shook her head slightly and said, "Ordinary demons can't see through your method, but if you're in the eyes of a demon master, you can't hide it at all. If you want to live, you have to go to the spirit realm to have a chance." I've thought about it before, but I was severely injured before, so I could only hide in the Holy Shadow, tried to recuperate and recover. Moreover, the spirit realm is the upper realm. I'm afraid it won't be easy to enter, right? Yichen said. Fairy Hong Ling nodded slightly. She suddenly took out a token and said, "This is my identity token. If you go to the spirit realm in the future, you can use it to find my husband. Tell him that I've wronged him." Yichen's heart shook when he took the token. Was Fairy Hong Ling going to do something stupid? She trusted him so much and even gave him her personal token. He was indebted to her. He could not bear to watch her commit suicide before him. "Fairy Hong Ling, we still have a chance." At this moment, Fairy Hong Ling laughed self-deprecatingly. "Yichen, you don't have to persuade me. My body has long been tainted by demons. This is something I can't tolerate. Instead of living in such humiliation, I might as well die. At least I can leave a good reputation so that my husband can avenge me. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have the chance to take revenge. Fairy, I can take you away. Say no more. My cultivation is now crippled, and I'll only be a burden if you bring me along. We're both going to die here. I've already made up my mind. I only ask that you bring my corpse back to the ancestor." With that, Fairy Hong Ling forcefully circulated her yuan qi and used the last of her strength to commit suicide on the spot. Sigh. Yichen looked sad. He did not expect her to commit suicide after all. "Since you are so loyal to your chastity, I will agree to your request." With a wave of his sleeves, true essence swiftly flowed out and a cool breeze caressed his face. Fairy Hong Ling's jade body had already been put away. As long as he saw the old ancestor in the future, he would definitely return it. Burn! Subsequently, Yichen launched a palm attack. Flames burned and space shook. The demon warriors guarding inside the palace heard the commotion inside and quickly rushed over. When the demon warriors saw that Yi Chun was alone in the main hall, they were very surprised. Then they felt their bodies heat up. They suddenly saw the flames burning on the ground, and the ashes were still drifting. They were shocked. Yi Chun swallowed the demonic fire in his mouth. He had already returned to his demon form. He pretended to be exasperated and shouted, "Lowly woman, how dare you insult me? Even death cannot wipe out your crimes." Many of the demon warriors did not dare to speak. They all thought that it was because the human woman had offended Lord Dugahan and was destroyed by the demonic fire. Sensing the powerful power of the demonic fire, the demon warriors trembled and broke out in a cold sweat. They were afraid that they would be killed by Yi Chun because of a small mistake. They were extremely respectful of Yi Chun. For 3 consecutive days, Yi Chun had been concentrating on cultivating. His body was recovering and maturing. Clatter, clatter, clatter. A demon warrior suddenly ran into the palace as if there was something urgent. "Lord Dugahan, the holy war is about to begin. The demon lord has arrived personally. Please hurry over." "Night Shadow Demon Lord?" "That's right, it's the Demon Lord." "All right." Yichen did not expect the Night Shadow Demon Lord to arrive so soon. He flew up and ran toward the square of the Holy Shadow tribe. The grand square was filled with the Holy Shadow tribe members. There were many of them. They looked very excited, as if they were waiting for the arrival of an important person. Rumble. The world shook violently and thunder rumbled. At this moment, a huge dark vortex appeared in the sky. Following that, a person walked out of it. It was the Night Shadow Demon Lord. He was dressed in a black robe, and his expression was extremely cold. Wherever his figure passed, the dark night would fall. This was the spreading of dark energy. It was terrifying. The monstrous demonic might shocked everyone. Under the worship of countless Holy Shadow tribe members, the Night Shadow Demon Lord ascended the high platform. Members of the Holy Shadow tribe, now I have important news for you. The Night Shadow Demon Lord smiled coldly. There was a bloodthirsty look at the corner of his mouth. His appearance was chilling. He glanced around. His cold aura was oppressive. Everyone bowed and did not dare to move. I've received orders from the demon monarch Maluel. The holy war is about to begin. The Holy Shadow Tribe will join the holy war from today onwards. All demon generals and above must follow me. Hearing this, Yi Chen was puzzled. What did the holy war mean? What had happened that required the holy war? No matter what, this holy war must be a major event for the demon tribe. Otherwise, the demon lord would not have come personally to assign this mission. He had to understand. Everyone, the spirit adept, rank fallen patriarch, lost a woman, and led many spirit adept rank cultivators to invade our demon disaster area. This action is a challenge. We must guard against it. The 8 great demon lords have joined the war. This time, our holy shadow tribe must make the people of the spirit realm return and defeat. A holy shadow tribe combatant added to explain the reason for this holy war. The 8 great demon lords have joined the war? No way. That's too much. The 8 great demon lords have joined the war. Who is this fallen patriarch? How is he qualified? I heard that he's a Tao integration stage cultivator from the spirit realm. He's only half a step away from tribulation stage. Unbelievable. This holy war is going to be incomparably shocking. I hope this is the battle where our holy shadow tribe rises. Everyone was excited and shocked. The Night Shadow Demon Lord had come personally, and the 8 great demon lords had joined the war. Such a thing had never been heard of before. This time, they had finally made it to the demon tribe's grand event. The fallen patriarch. Yi Chen's heart trembled and his expression changed. This person was the husband that Fairy Hong Ling had mentioned. Yi Chen did not expect him to be such a sentimental person. For Fairy Hong Ling, he had challenged the 8 great demon lords of the demon tribe. As a human, he could not help but sigh in admiration. End of this chapter. Chapter 1754. This holy war concerns the Holy Shadow Tribe's position in the demon tribe. It's very important. Everyone has to fight with their lives on the line. Don't leave any remnants behind. Elder Yu, I'll leave the rest to you. Thank you for your guidance, Demon Lord. We understand. The elders led the crowd to bow to the Demon Lord. However, the Demon Lord of Night Shadow's figure rose up and dark energy filled the sky. Subsequently, he disappeared into the dark vortex. After the Demon Lord left, the elders stood on the platform again and looked down at the tribe members. Everyone, the Demon Lord personally assigned this mission. The importance of this holy war goes without saying. Let's not delay this. I'll now announce the list of participants. Elder Yu stood in front of the other elders and looked down at the Holy Shadow Tribe warriors. His eyes flashed with coldness. He had to perform well in this battle. Then, the people who would fight would definitely be the best of the best in the clan. The people below were looking forward to it. If they could kill the enemy on the battlefield and prove their worth, they would be rewarded countless times when they returned to the tribe. Listen up. The participant is Dugu Ming. That's great. I knew it. I'll be the first. Dugu Ming was in high spirits. His entire being was filled with battle intent. He glared at Yi Chen coldly, showing off at the slightest thing. Naturally, Yi Chen ignored him and looked at the platform. Dugaluo. My name. Dugaluo was also very excited. Dugahan. Everyone was shocked when they heard the third name. They did not expect Dugahan to be valued by the elders so quickly and be able to participate in the holy war. I finally have a chance to leave the Holy Shadow Tribe's territory. Great. Yi Chen was not surprised when he heard his name. Instead, he was happy. Now that there were wanted posters everywhere, it was difficult for him to do anything big. However, when the Holy Shadow Tribe participated in the Holy War, he could openly leave the Holy Shadow Tribe. As long as he entered the battlefield, he could sneak into the human camp and change his appearance to reveal his original appearance. Coupled with Fairy Hong Ling's trust, he would definitely be able to enter unscathed. Following that, Elder Yu read out a few more names. They were all powerhouses of the tribe's younger generation. All of them were excited and wanted to be rewarded for their contributions on the battlefield. The army will depart in 3 days. No delay. Yes. Everyone agreed, and returned to their respective homes. Dugu was depressed along the way, as if there was an indescribable worry. Returning to the palace, Yi-chun took the initiative to ask, "Why are you so depressed?" Reluctance appeared on Dugu-yu's face. Yi-chun could basically guess the reason. "Brother, can you not go to the battlefield?" Dugu asked. Yi-chun sighed lightly. As expected, his fake sister still did not want him to leave her. Moreover, she was worried about his safety. On the battlefield, swords were silent. No one could guarantee that they would return safely. Dugu and Dugahan depended on each other and had no other relatives. Naturally, they did not want Yi-chun to go to the battlefield. "The military order has already been given. I can't disobey it. Moreover, going to the battlefield to participate in the Holy War is a good opportunity for me to make a contribution. You should know my strength. I will definitely return safely." There was determination in Yi-chun's eyes. Although he was not the real Dugahan, he was touched by Dugu-yu's affection for Dugahan. Hearing this, Dugu nodded slightly. Yes, I knew that big brother is the best. Dugaming, Dugaluo, and the others are no match for big brother." Yi-chun shook his head slightly, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Subsequently, Dugu cooked a good meal for Yi-chun. After Yi-chun displayed his talent, they received a lot of resources, so their diet naturally improved. "Brother, when you go to the battlefield, you must be careful of Dugaming and the others. They've always been jealous of your talent. This time, they won't let you go so easily. These two are just clowns in my eyes. They're just two pieces of trash. You don't have to worry." "Brother, you can't be careless." "Don't worry, I know what to do." Yi-fan agreed verbally, but he did not care at all. At this moment, on a mountain in the wilderness. "You're here." A voice rang out. Under the moonlight, a figure appeared faintly. It was Dugaming. Dugaluo said, "I didn't expect the clan to choose a piece of trash like Duguhan." Dugaming had a ferocious look in his eyes as he said, "That couldn't be better. The battlefield of the Holy War is very dangerous. We're going up against the spiritual realm's patriarch of Skyfall. His strength goes without saying. Naturally, there are 8 demon lords to fight against him. Moreover, the people from the spiritual realm that he leads must be experts too. As the saying goes, swords are silent. Life and death are not concerned. Under such circumstances, even if that piece of trash is accidentally killed, no one will care." "Dugaming, you're right. On the battlefield, with just a little push, Dugahan will die without a doubt." "Ha ha." After the discussion, the two of them burst into laughter as if they had already seen Dugahan die in front of them. 3 days later, when the sun rose, the Holy Shadow clan's bell rang loudly, and everyone gathered. Clatter, clatter, clatter! The young powerhouses who had been chosen hurried their steps and quickly gathered at the plaza. At this moment, Elder Yu had brought the elders to send them off. This holy war was no small matter. The clan placed great importance on it. Roar! Suddenly, a beast's roar came from the plaza. Yi-chun looked over and saw several 6-winged, earth demonic beasts. These mystical beasts were adept at flying. They were the flying mounts that the Holy Shadow Clan had released for everyone to ride on for this battle. Follow your own team. The order was given. Each 6-winged, earth demonic beast was led by a Tier 1 demon general powerhouse, waiting for the team members to go up. "Brother, you must be careful. Don't worry, I'll definitely take the biggest credit this time." Yi-chun's aura was released. His vigorous battle intent was imposing without being angry. Dugi was slightly relieved. She could feel an extremely strong power and spiritual will from Yi-chun. "Dugahan, hurry!" Yi-chun heard someone shouting, but did not respond. He quickly rushed toward the plaza. In the plaza, everyone was already in line. Elder Yu was distributing the spots. Subsequently, warriors were assigned to each earth demonic beast. The warriors got on the earth demonic beast, and the people behind them left. When Yi-chun looked back, he realized that Dugu had not left yet. She was looking in his direction with a reluctant expression. Yi-chun was slightly moved. After all, Dugu had always treated him sincerely during this period of time. "Go back," he shouted, wanting Dugu to return. However, not only did she not return, but she also ran forward with the team. "What are you doing?" Yichen shouted, "I'm going to send everyone off." Dugayu was also stubborn. She would not go back until she saw Yichen disappear. Duga Ming and Duga Luo only sneered. Yichen turned around and shouted angrily. At this moment, Dugayu was squatting on the ground and crying. Sigh. Yichun sighed. He could not bear it. End of this chapter. Chapter 1755. Looking at Dugayu getting further and further away, Dugu Ming scoffed. Some people are just unreasonable. Participating in the holy war is a grand occasion for our tribe, yet he's being held back by his sister. Look at how he's crying. How can a brother like him participate in the war? Of course not. He's always thinking about his sister in this holy war. His death is not to be regretted, Dugu Luo said in disdain. The two ear-piercing voices did not stop talking. Everyone knew who they were. Yichen suddenly turned around while Duga Ming and Duga Luo retreated quickly. They looked at him coldly, ready to move at any time. Two pieces of trash can only talk behind their backs. You, Duga Ming and Duga Luo, could only glare at Yichun angrily. They dared not move recklessly. Their leader was Elder Yu. If they moved recklessly, they would be reprimanded by the elder or even punished. The three of them looked at each other coldly, with a tense atmosphere. Stand properly. If anyone falls off the back of this earth devil beast, you'll have to bear the responsibility. At that moment, a cold voice came from the earth demon beast's head. It was Elder Yu. Yichen turned around and did not look at Duga Ming and Duga Luo anymore. Duga Ming walked forward and bowed to Elder Yu. Elder Yu, what's the exact situation of this holy war? Elder Yu turned to the crowd and explained, This holy war is very important. We have to go to a place called Tianfeng Gorge in the Tianyuan region. It's the front line of the war. We've heard of Tianfeng Gorge before. The terrain is steep and there's no way out. It's a place of life and death, Duga Ming said. Elder Yu smiled and continued. Of course, Tianfeng Gorge is the place where humans and demons are in a fierce confrontation. Once they start fighting, it'll be a fight to the death. What are you afraid of? Hearing what Elder Yu said, many demon warriors were timid and did not dare to answer. We're not afraid of death, Duga Ming and Duga Luo said. Very good. We can only win with such spirit. Seeing Duga Ming and Duga Luo being praised by Elder Yu and showing off to him, Yichen treated it as two fleas jumping around. Elder Yu continued, The demons are taking this holy war very seriously, so the rewards for those who have contributed are very generous. Elder, what exactly is the reward? Everyone asked. Anyone who kills a soul formation stage human cultivator will be rewarded with a divine demon fruit. Holy demon fruit? That's great. Everyone cheered and jumped for joy when they heard such a reward. They rubbed their palms together and were extremely excited. The so-called holy demon fruit was extremely beneficial to the devil race. Once a devil general consumed it, they would be able to rapidly increase their cultivation base. It was a shortcut to cultivation, and everyone in the devil race wanted to obtain the holy demon fruit to quickly break through. Yichen scoffed in his heart. Such a reward was of little value to him. It was almost useless to him, so he was not interested in it at all. While they were chatting, a gale suddenly howled and swept across the sky. Everyone sit down. Yes. No one dared to be careless, and they all circulated their demonic arts to calm their minds. On top of this earth demon beast, it was as if they were on flat ground, and they could move freely. Hoo. Under the elder's control, the earth demon beast began to speed up. Over the course of 2 days, the earth demon beast had sped up several times, and the group had finally reached the periphery of Sky Wind Gorge. Everyone, when we enter Tianfeng Gorge, the wind might increase dramatically. Everyone must calm down and stabilize their bodies. There must be no accidents, Elder Yu said. We understand. Everyone nodded and acted according to the elder's instructions. However, the dark clouds in front of them were like dancing demons. From time to time, there would be thunder and lightning, which was terrifying. For many of the demons, it was their first time on such a huge battlefield, so they could not help but feel excited. The huge Tianfeng Gorge was like a giant dragon hovering above the peak, giving off a great pressure. Everyone was amazed. Above the canyon, Countless war fortresses stood horizontally like giant beasts of the galaxy. Hoo hoo hoo. The wind howled in the gorge, and the sky was filled with murderous intent. We're about to land. Everyone pay attention. Yes. Elder Yu released his power, suppressing the earth demon beast's mental resistance, and rushed into the gorge. Roar, roar, roar. In the meantime, a series of roars came from the gorge, like the roar of a god of war, sending chills down everyone's spine. After passing through many obstacles and strong gales, the earth demon beast finally landed next to a fortress in the gorge. Yichen saw countless devil army marching. Their movements were extremely fast. Every step they took caused the ground to shake. It was a majestic sight. At that moment, they saw a group of people walking toward them from afar. The people in front are from the sacred Nether tribe. Maintain your etiquette. Everyone stood still, not daring to move. Clack, clack, clack. The person walking at the front was tall and sturdy. His gait was like that of a dragon or a tiger, and his imposing manner was overbearing. He was clearly a powerful member of the devil race. Are you demon warriors from the sacred Nether tribe? We are. Thank you for welcoming us. You're welcome. I'm the sacred Nether demon lord. Just follow me. Oh, it's the Lord Demon Lord. Listen up. Elder Yu led the group and bowed to the sacred Nether Demon Lord. We're at war. Don't be so polite. Let's go. The sacred Nether Demon Lord led the group into the demon tribe's stronghold in Tianfeng Gorge to rest. Upon entering the stronghold, various military facilities stood tall, with various demon flags fluttering in the wind. It was an inspiring sight. If you want to rest here, the war will begin in 5 days, the sacred Nether Demon Lord said. 5 days? Why? Everyone asked in confusion. The war was about to begin, but we suddenly found out that there's something wrong with the human camp. What's wrong? I don't know the specifics, but it seems to be an internal conflict. Currently, they're only defending and not attacking. Their behavior is strange, so we have to be careful. Lord Demon Lord, you've thought things through. We're impressed. The sacred Nether Demon Lord sneered and led the group forward. There'll be a welcoming ceremony at night. At that time, all the demon tribe that came to participate in the holy war will participate. Be prepared. Thank you. Elder Yu thanked on behalf of the group. Then, the sacred Nether tribe was arranged to rest. During the resting period, Yichen quietly walked out. Since he had come to the place where the two sides were confronting each other, he did not want to give up any chance to leave quickly. However, when he walked out of the resting area, he saw demon generals and demon soldiers everywhere. Moreover, he had never seen these people before. The security was extremely tight, so he could not help but feel troubled. What are you doing? Suddenly, a demon general stared at Yi Chun and shouted sternly. I'm a demon warrior from the sacred Nether tribe. I'm here to help, Yi Chun replied. Now's not the time to fight. Go back immediately. Yes. Yi Chun saw that the other party was extremely strict and could only give up. As night fell, the surrounding space became chilly and the temperature plummeted. Suddenly, flames shot into the sky in the distance. The welcoming ceremony had begun. Chapter 1756. The welcoming ceremony has begun. Everyone, follow me. Yes, Elder. The crowd followed behind Elder Yu to welcome the grand event. Yichen realized that there was a huge gap in front of him. Subsequently, a flight of stairs appeared. The welcoming ceremony will be held below. Everyone, pay attention. We're representing the Holy Shadow Tribe's honor. Behave yourselves later. No one is allowed to cause trouble. Yes. Although everyone agreed, the dignity in their hearts still caused their competitive spirit to overflow. They were all members of the devil race, and the competitive spirit in their blood couldn't be changed. After walking for a while, Elder Yu said again, the Holy Nether Tribe, Holy Moon Tribe, Holy Camel Tribe, and other demon tribes have brought their elites here. You're young and impetuous. Let me remind you that if you don't listen to me, you'll have to bear the consequences. Hearing this, Duga Ming and Duga Luo only smirked coldly. They did not mind. The huge stone tunnel appeared, and everyone entered the underground space. As soon as they entered the tunnel, they encountered a group of people rushing past them. They were aggressive and did not care who was around them. Move! Suddenly, a person dashed past Yi-chan and pushed him away directly. He was very arrogant. Yi-chan's eyes turned cold with killing intent. That person wanted to go over, but sensing Yi-chan's powerful killing intent, he suddenly stopped and turned to look at Yi-chan. What are you looking at? That person shouted coldly. I'm just looking at a mad dog. Yi-chan's lips curled up slightly as he replied coldly. Do you know who I am? Just a dog. Do I need to know? A minute. That person stood up abruptly. Demonic energy gathered in his palms and attacked Yi-chan. Sai, don't be rash. Elder Yu stood between the two of them. We're all here to participate in the welcoming ceremony. Why are you so tense? Elder Yu said. Humph. I'm an elite warrior of the Holy Sun tribe. How dare you weaklings block my way? Do you have a death wish? You're just a headless fly. How dare you call yourself a powerhouse? Yi-chan replied coldly. You. That person's entire body was covered in flames. The Holy Shadow tribe did not dare to take it head-on and retreated. Useless. Yi-chan's eyes narrowed. Demonic chi surged, and the Tier 6 devouring Mageweth disturbed the dark vortex. The endless flames were all absorbed by the devouring vortex, leaving nothing behind. The Holy Sun Clan elite warrior was shocked. The move earlier was the supreme grade Inferno Palm, which could easily suppress even a Tier 1 demon general. However, Yi-chan had forcefully absorbed it and did not hurt him at all. This situation shocked him. All right, we're all from the Fiend race. You'd better leave. Elder Yu said. That person left resentfully. Dugahan, you are too impulsive. The Holy Sun Clan, the Holy Moon Clan, and the Holy Star Clan are the noblest among all the clans of the Devil race. You shouldn't have offended them, Elder Yu said. Does the Holy Shadow tribe have to accept being trampled on by others? Yi-chan turned around abruptly and walked away. How dare you be rude to an elder? You deserve to die. Too arrogant. Dugu Ming and Dugu Luo scolded Yi-chan, while Elder Yu shook his head lightly and proceeded to move forward. As Yi-chan was moving forward, he suddenly sensed a familiar aura. He turned his head and saw that it was the Holy Hunchback tribe. The leader was a Tier 1 demon lord from the Holy Hunchback tribe. Clatter, clatter, clatter. At this moment, Elder Yu had also arrived with the crowd. Isn't this the Holy Shadow tribe? A bunch of useless people. How dare you participate in the Holy War? Aren't you afraid of dying without a burial place? As soon as the two groups met, an elite warrior from the other side spoke rudely. Even trash like you dare to come, let alone elites like us? If I remember correctly, the Holy Hunchback tribe doesn't have any battle merits. Dugu Ming stepped forward to accept the challenge. Following that, the two devil clans taunted each other as if they had some deep hatred for each other. Elder Yu, control your people. Suddenly, the Tier 1 demon lord stepped forward, his aura suppressing everyone. I think you should control your people first. Elder Yu did not want to be outdone. He stepped forward and confronted the Tier 1 demon lord. Instantly, the two auras collided with each other, causing the surrounding space to freeze. Both of them were Tier 1 demon lords. Their abilities were powerful, and their auras were oppressive. With that, everyone retreated and watched the two powerhouses fight. ZZT, ZZT, ZZT. Lightning flashed, and rocks flew. Elder Yu and the Tier 1 demon lord were competing with each other, neither willing to yield to the other. The elite warriors from both sides also shouted loudly, cheering for their leaders. Yi-chan thought to himself, the Holy Shadow tribe and the Holy Hunchback tribe were the closest, so they had the most conflicts. There had been countless small conflicts before, but he did not expect them to be at daggers drawn when they met. The elite warriors were in a stalemate, and both sides continued to fight. The two powerhouses' auras collided with each other, affecting the people behind them. The situation was getting dangerous. Suddenly, a young man in black from the Holy Hunchback tribe walked forward, his eyes fixed on Yi-chan. I believe this must be the Holy Shadow tribe's most famous person recently, Dugahan. I heard you defeated that trash, Dugaming? As soon as he said that, Dugaming suddenly stepped forward before Yi-chan could do anything. His expression instantly became extremely ugly. Rage was brewing in his body as he said angrily, "Xian Quan, don't be so full of yourself. How dare a loser like you talk to me?" Xian Quan's face was full of disdain, as if Dugu Ming did not exist. He turned to look at Yi Chun and said, "Dugu Han, I'll challenge you in the arena tonight. I hope you won't disappoint me." Yi Chun's cold eyes locked on Xian Quan, but he said nothing. "Haha, don't be afraid to fight. Otherwise, the Holy Shadow Tribe will become a laughing stock." With that, Xian Quan left with the Holy Hunchback Tribe's Tier 1 Demon Lord. "Dugu Han, you're not going to fight back? How cowardly!" Dugu Ming stepped forward and shouted. Yi Chun suddenly turned around, and Dugu Ming retreated. "This trash can only defeat you. What do I need to fight back? Let's see who's better in the arena." These words were imposing and tough, and Dugu Ming could not refute them. "Yi Chun, don't underestimate your opponent. This so-called welcoming event is actually a competition between all parties, but it's all from the younger generation." Yi Chun nodded slightly. So that was why that brat wanted to challenge him in the arena. Elder Yu continued, "This Xian Quan used to be Dugu Ming's competitor, but he became a Tier 1 demon general last year because he would mock Dugu Ming whenever he saw him. That has nothing to do with me." Yi Chun shook his head nonchalantly. To him, whether it was Xian Quan or Dugu Ming, it was just a battle between ants. "Sigh, Dugu Han, this person is an elite warrior of the Holy Hunchback Tribe. It's best to be careful." "Got it," Yi Chun replied, and continued walking, not taking it to heart. Chapter 1757. Under Elder Yu's lead, everyone arrived at the underground exchange venue. There was a hall here that was extremely wide. It was at least dozens of miles away. It was obvious that a lot of effort had been put in. Even so, it was still packed with people. Dozens of arenas of various sizes were placed in the field. It could be seen that, as Elder Yu had said, this grand meeting was not only to welcome the people, but also to prove the strength of each tribe. Yi Chun scanned the crowd. Most of the demon warriors here were young people. This was probably intentional. The demon tribe hoped that the young people could find a feeling of glory in battle and fight to show their courage. "Be careful, don't cause trouble." With that, Elder Yu left. He was under the special circle of the demon lords of the major tribes. Yi Chun and the rest found empty seats and sat down, waiting for the event to begin. Suddenly, there was a commotion ahead. Yi Chun looked over and felt a powerful aura approaching. "Look, it's the Holy Sun clan's devil heir. He's majestic, and every step he takes gives people great pressure. I'm in awe of his strength." "Yeah, I heard that many devil heirs are participating in this event. I didn't expect to see them as soon as I arrived. They're too powerful. There's more behind. That's the Holy Star clan and the Holy Moon clan. It seems like the three clans are purposely appearing together to intimidate everyone." Everyone looked at the passage. 3 powerful demon warriors walked in. They were the devil heirs of the 3 leading clans. They represented the future of the demon disaster area and were greatly sought after. The 3 of them appeared at the same time and came to the seat of honor. They smiled at each other and sat down. Following that, many devil heirs from other clans appeared as well. However, the commotion they caused was much smaller. They could not compare to the 3 devil heirs. After the 3 sat down, many demon warriors from other clans came forward and bowed. "The 3 devil heirs have arrived. I'm in awe. Please take care of us in the future." With that, the cultivator took out an exquisite treasure artifact and handed it to the Holy Sun clan's devil heir. "Huh, you're too kind." The devil heir took the treasure artifact and only smiled coldly. He did not do anything else. The few people behind also presented their treasures to the devil heirs of the other 2 clans. Seeing this scene, everyone was envious. They didn't expect that there would be so many people from different tribes who wanted to befriend them while they were still at the Devil's Sun stage. When they grew up, their future would be limitless. Yi Chun had been observing all this while. He realized that the cultivation base of the devil heirs of the 3 major tribes had reached the level of a rank 9 devil general, which was equivalent to a master stage soul transformation stage. He must be one of the best among the younger generation. It was no wonder that so many people wanted to befriend him. At that moment, the sound of footsteps rang out, and the sacred nether race appeared. On behalf of the Holy Fiend race, I would like to welcome all of you. The Devil Monarchs have agreed to hold this conference in order to strengthen the friendship between the devilish tribes and strengthen their resolve to fight the common enemy. Thank you, everyone, for coming to participate in this event. We will be offering 3 holy demon fruits as a reward for this exchange. I hope that all of you young heroes will work hard to obtain them. All right, this holy demon fruit is mine. 3 divine demon fruits have increased my cultivation by quite a bit. This is a good opportunity to improve myself. I must strive for it. The youths of many tribes below began to cheer, as if they were determined to obtain the divine demon fruit. In that case, everyone, please find your own social circle. With that, the sacred nether race left the stage. Everyone walked around and found their own social circle. Yichen did not move. He just sat where he was. He was still thinking about how to leave the demon disaster area as soon as possible and find the location of the Patriarch of Skyfall and the others. Not far away was the Holy Camel race's social circle, which included the Sacred Abyss race and other devilish tribes. A Sacred Abyss race demon warrior walked to the Holy Camel race's Xian Quan and asked with a smile, "I heard that Brother Xian Quan met the Holy Shadow race's recently famous Dugohan outside the gate?" Xian Quan turned to look at that person and said with a disdainful expression, "He's just a piece of trash like Dugaming. Later, I'll let him know that the Holy Shadow race is far inferior to the Holy Camel race." Brother Xian Quan, are you really that confident? Are you doubting me? I wouldn't dare. Just wait and see. With that, Xian Quan took the lead and walked straight to the Holy Shadow race's camp in the distance. He stopped and looked straight at Yichen. "Dugahan, do you remember what I said earlier?" Yichen sat upright, as steady as Mount Tai, ignoring Xian Quan's shout. This made Xian Quan's eyes turn cold, and a fierce glint appeared in his eyes. "Now I want to challenge you. I wonder if you dare to accept the challenge?" Xian Quan had a provocative look on his face, completely looking down on Yichen. In his opinion, Yichen was definitely no match for him. Soon, Xian Quan's challenge attracted everyone's attention. That person is Xian Quan of the Holy Camel race. He's very powerful. I heard that the Holy Camel race and the Holy Shadow race have always been at odds. This time, he really picked one. The person he's challenging is the Holy Shadow race's Dugahan, who has recently become famous. I heard that he has already stepped into the Tier 1 Demon General stage. He can't be underestimated. In the crowd, there were discussions about the two's identities. At this moment, the 3 demon princes in the main seats of the event all looked over with interest. This made the other demon warriors even more interested. In the face of such provocation, Yichen did not want to pay attention. He was still thinking, it's true. That Dugohan doesn't dare to accept the challenge. What a piece of trash. In recent years, the Holy Shadow race has been at the lower end of the major demon tribes. It's difficult for them to improve. This Xian Quan is a genius of the Holy Camel race. Last year, he stepped into the Tier 1 Demon General stage. Now, his strength is even more profound. What's there to say about this match? The result has long been decided. That's right. That Dugahan can't be Xian Quan's match at all. He's already too scared to answer. In the crowd, everyone was optimistic about Xian Quan. All kinds of mockery toward Yichen could be heard. In the Holy Shadow race's camp, seeing that Yichen was really being challenged but did not respond, Dugaming and the others could not help but gossip. Look, as the representative of our Holy Shadow race, Dugahan doesn't dare to accept the challenge. This is a great humiliation. Dugaming took the initiative to mock Yichen in front of everyone. That's right. Dugahan doesn't dare to accept the challenge at all. His opponent is Xian Quan. Dugaluo also said. As soon as this was said, everyone from the Holy Shadow race looked at Yichen with worried expressions. If he really did not accept the challenge, the Holy Shadow race's reputation would be ruined. Yichen suddenly stood up. His eyes shone with a cold light, like a dragon rushing out of the abyss. His eyes were like lightning, frightening people's hearts. Dugaming and the others turned pale with fright and retreated one after another. I didn't want to bother with you, but since you insist on seeking death, I can only fulfill your wish. Meeting everyone's gaze, Yi Chun stepped forward. To be continued. Chapter 1758. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone was shocked. Yi Chun's words were extremely arrogant. Before he went on stage, everyone guessed that he didn't dare to accept the challenge, but they didn't expect that he would be so forceful as soon as he appeared. Who wouldn't be shocked by such domineering words? Whoosh! Yi Chun moved and flew into the arena. He stared at Xian Quan coldly and said, "Come up and accept your death." How could Xian Quan tolerate such arrogant words? He was a genius warrior of the Holy Camel tribe. Now that he had been humiliated like this, he would never let Yi Chun off. "Arrogant kid, you deserve to die." Xian Quan flew into a rage. He flew onto the stage and released his aura, engulfing the entire battlefield. He was like a ferocious tiger that was about to devour its prey. However, Yi Chun only sneered. On the independent fighting platform, he was like a supreme being as he revealed a look of disdain. Such a scene made the powerhouses who hadn't paid much attention to this battle turn their heads to look over. Although neither of them were the super geniuses in everyone's hearts, this battle had become the focus of everyone's attention. "Yi Chun, do you dare to bet your life?" Xian Quan was filled with killing intent. He was completely infuriated by Yi Chun's actions and even lost his mind. Yi Chun scoffed. He had expected this. "Why not?" Yi Chun responded coldly. For a moment the crowd cried out in shock. They had thought that this was just an ordinary duel. But at this moment, it was a bet of life and death. Clearly, the nature of this duel had changed. The host of the Sacred Nether race stood up and looked at the two of them. "Don't be rash," he said. "This is an exchange. We're just here to exchange pointers, not to bet our lives." Everyone nodded. Everyone was here for the rewards, but no one wanted to fight to the death here. After all, the greatest enemy of the human race was still waiting for them. Such an arrogant man. If I don't teach him a lesson, I will not be a warrior of the Holy Camel tribe today. Xian Quan let out a few loud laughs and directly stepped forward, not backing down at all. It was clear that he wanted to sign a life and death contract. "Dugu Han, do you dare to sign a life or death contract with me?" There was a provocative look on Xian Quan's face. Xian Quan wasn't just being mean, he was trying to regain his face. He was certain that Dugu Han did not dare to take the gamble. Therefore, he wanted to make Dugu Han kneel down and apologize, and then humiliate him in every possible way. This was his plan. Of course, if Dugu Han really dared to gamble, then he would die a tragic death. No matter what the result was, it was what Xian Quan wanted. The corner of his lips curled up slightly. Basically, he was certain that Yi Chun dared not take the bet. Betting your life? Just my liking. Yi Chun's sudden response shocked everyone again. At the same time, Xian Quan was also stunned. He did not expect Yi Chun to agree so easily. "Bluffing won't save you, Dugu Han. Since you agree, then come." The two of them walked to the center of the arena at the same time and signed a life and death contract with the Sacred Nether Tribe's representative. After signing the contract, the two of them left their true essence marks on the paper and then separated. Such a situation was far beyond everyone's imagination. Even the three devil heirs were looking at the battlefield at the same time. Naturally, they paid attention to Yi Chun because, no matter how they looked at it, he was at a disadvantage. However, he had agreed so readily. His domineering attitude shocked everyone. The three fiend heirs exchanged glances and smiled. One of them said, "This person's personality suits my tastes. If he doesn't die this time around, he can be my subordinate and be at my beck and call." The other two laughed at the same time. "You're really in a good mood. This kind of trash from a small tribe is only good at talking. Do you really think that he has the ability to defeat Xian Quan?" "There's no harm in watching," the fiend heir replied. As soon as the life and death contract was signed, the atmosphere on the battlefield suddenly changed. Killing intent filled the air, attracting the attention of the crowd. On the second floor, many of the demon lords were also interested. They all looked down at the fighting platform with interest. Elder Yu suddenly stood up. Yi Chun was one of the few talented warriors in their tribe in recent years. Signing the life and death contract was too risky. His expression changed, and he stood up to stop him. Elder Yu. At this moment, the Holy Camel Tribe's demon lord also stood up and blocked Elder Yu's way. The Holy Camel Tribe's demon lord said with a faint smile, Elder Yu, why are you so impatient? Don't you have any confidence in your tribe's genius warrior? With that said, Elder Yu is in a dilemma. Haha, Elder Yu, he's right. A battle between geniuses is about fairness and bravery. The Holy Camel Tribe can afford to play, but can your Sacred Shadow Tribe not? People of the Demon Tribe, fight to the end. Such a grand event should have such a battle to liven things up. Elder Yu, I think you're guilty. Could it be that your tribe's genius is fake? That you deliberately spread it to deceive us? If you're the real deal, you shouldn't be afraid to fight. The other demon lords mocked and ridiculed. Elder Yu could not stop this life and death battle. He could only sit down and hope that Yi Chun could defeat his opponent and save his life. In the arena below, Yi Chun and Xian Quan had signed the life and death contract. The Holy Nether Tribe's host confirmed that it was valid, and the battle was about to begin. Everyone was excited. They wanted to see who would be the one who would be killed. The life and death contract is valid. Now let the battle begin. The Holy Nether Tribe's host ordered. Yi Chun and Xian Quan locked onto each other at the same time. Die. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Xian Quan was the first to move, wanting to gain the initiative. Powerful demon energy filled the world. Waves of demonic energy spread uncontrollably from his body. The speed at which he moved and the density of the demon energy was beyond everyone's imagination. This move is too fast. It kills in an instant. Amazing. Dugahan can't possibly take this move. Last year, Xian Quan became a Tier 1 demon general. In terms of strength, he's definitely above Dugahan. If the battle ends in one move, it'll be too boring. Everyone laughed. They were waiting for Yi Chun to fall to the ground. Such a useless move. What a waste of time. However, Yi Chun turned around and faced his back to Xian Quan. Everyone was stupefied. This was a life and death battle. Yet there was still this type of method. Just how arrogant was this person? He was simply insane. Tier 6 Devouring Rune. Yi Chun's body emitted a dark light. The Tier 6 Devouring Rune bloomed on his back. At this moment, it was like a dark rose, shocking everyone. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The powerful demon energy on Xian Quan's body automatically surged toward the demonic flower on Yi Chun's back. Gradually, Xian Quan even felt that his control of the demon energy was having problems. It was unbelievable. This is impossible. Although he was unwilling to believe it, Yi Chun had easily absorbed the demon energy. He had no strength to attack at all, and his move was broken on the spot. This method of breaking the technique made countless devil dwellers exclaim in admiration. Elder Yu on the second floor laughed. The Holy Camel Tribe's demon king looked terrible. However, Xian Quan sneered. He did not believe that Yi Chun had such strength. It was just a coincidence. He had released his Tier 3 demon general power. It turned out that he had been hiding his strength. He's a Tier 3 demon general. With such a cultivation speed, there's no suspense in this battle. Feeling such a shocking demon energy, everyone looked at Xian Quan again.